Fading future, shattered dreams, end of times ain't what it seems.
Hello, friends. It's Sam Chaney reporting for Weaponized News. Today is May 14th, 2026. Thank you for joining us on this Thursday edition of Weaponized News. We have Ruckus on the line, so he'll be joining us. Let me get through the hooks for the show quickly, and this day in history, and we'll get Ruckus on and go through all this news for you today. America, Trump, China, we got that breakdown. And why I titled the show the way I did today, it was via Simon. Via Simon, he said, just ridiculous difference. And he sent me a clip we'll play of the meeting there, the big public meeting between China and America. And so you'll see just ridiculous difference there. What else do we got today? We have a whole lot of economic news. We're still in the Iran war, day 76. Trump seems bored and to have forgotten about it. But believe me, the rest of the world certainly hasn't. We'll cover that, where we're at on day 76 of Iran war. There's a whole lot of fraud coming out here now, and not from the federal fraud task force czar, J.D. Vance, Mr. Technocracy. No, a bunch of frauds coming out here by your Mr. MAGA, Mr. America, Mr. Criminal Con Man, Donald Trump. We're going to cover that in the economic section of the show. It certainly appears that he's rigging the stock market behind the bully pulpit of the presidency. We'll take a look at some of these unusual stock moves and a bunch about AI data centers. Who cares? Eat data. You know what I mean? Who cares about the climate, the environment? If you even have any water, if you have any electricity, who freaking cares? Because we have to build a technocracy for your enslavement and orderly termination. Do you understand? What else do we got? Oh yeah, we're going to take a second look here at the new Federal Reserve Chair, Kevin Warsh, and his who is this guy? Ron Lauder. His father-in-law. He's the head of the World Aardvark Congress. No big deal, probably. No big deal. Cuba's under CIA blackout now. We're going to take a look at that as the CIA is now visiting Cuba. So, and then the genocide in Lebanon and Gaza continues. I don't know if we can. I was looking up definitions. I guess we have to wait for the UN to officially declare it a genocide. I don't know how it works in international law. Really, I was trying to figure it all out. It's pretty complicated. How we get to actually official, internationally recognized definition of genocide. Anyhow, they're definitely ethnic cleansing Lebanon and edging up to almost 3,000 dead here now since March 2nd of Lebanese. So we're edging damn near. If we can't call it officially a genocide, it's definitely officially ethnic cleansing, and we're damn close to genocide there. The consummate provocation of Muslims. The ultra-Zionists want these Muslims to attack them at this point and then use that as an excuse for a giant war. On Jerusalem Day, is that what they're calling it? Jerusalem Day, they're provocateuring the Muslims at the Al-Aqsa Mosque. We'll cover that in the Dancing Aardvark Party, as per usual, as they're known for. All of that and much more on this Thursday edition of Weaponized News. Shout out to Fat Bob over there. He's banned off the X. Fat Bob gave us a very good comment. I'll cut out the cussing, but this was on, 2 days ago show. He said, holy effing S, Sam Chaney, you're the hardest working man in all the alternative news business, up there where very few dare to tread. Fortunately, And despite X destroying my ability to do my part on that platform, I added that part. I'm here to the live stream every chance I get. Thank you, Fat Bob, and all your efforts across the platforms. We do appreciate longtime listener Fat Bob and subscriber out there, and your kind words are appreciated. Okay, let's get to on this day in history quickly and blast through this. On this day of May 14th, we go back to the year 1610. Henry IV of France is assassinated by a fanatical Catholic who stabs him to death in the streets of Paris. We do see a continuing theme throughout history of religious fanaticism causing mass death. I don't think that's of the Lord in any way, but we're still on that path today. In the year 1643, on this day, Louis XIV becomes King of France at age 4 years old. And so imagine that, King of France, 4 years old on this day, 1643. 1767 on this day, British government disbands American import duty on tea. 1796 on this day, English country doctor Edward Jenner administers his revolutionary cowpox-based miracle for smallpox. And I can't even go any further than that. Take a hard look at that. On this day in 1884, anti-monopoly party forms in the U.S. Hey, maybe we need an anti-monopoly data center party here now. Seems like the way things are sorting out. On this day in 1940, Nazis bomb Rotterdam, killing an estimated between 600 and 900 people. Netherlands surrenders to Germany. Also in part of World War II. Then we fast forward to 1945, part of World War II. Kamikaze Zero strikes U.S. aircraft carrier Enterprise on this day, 1945. And this is a crazy one. Also on this day in 1945, physician Joseph G. Hamilton injects misdiagnosed cancer patient Albert Stevens with KAL1 with 131 KBQ 3.55 UQI. That's all these measurements for plutonium without his knowledge. Stevens lives another 20 years, surviving with the highest known accumulation of radiation dose any human has ever taken. So crazy stuff there. 1945, 1948, on this day, probably the greatest day in the history of the world, Aardvark Independence, Declaration of Independence. David Ben Gurion declares Aardvark land independent from British administration. And so it should be celebrated as the greatest day in the history of the world. Aardvark Declaration of Independence there on this day. Nobody seems to notice or care. I know, I'm shocked and outraged too. On this day in 1974, Underground America Day is the first observance to honor the 6,000 Americans that make their homes in the earth. 1987, on this day, Colt revolver, the Peacemaker from 1873, sells for a record $242,000 at auction. Colt revolver, the Peacemaker. And on this day in 2020, there was heavy bats circling. Global death toll from the bats passes 300,000 with 4.4 million confirmed infections. And again, take a look at the PCR test about these confirmed infections. And I can say no more. It's up to you. We've done all the research here. It's up to you in the audience to go do your own research. And in 2022, U.S. records 1 million bat deaths, with the White House ordering flags to fly at half-mast through the weekend. The show we did on Tuesday with a nurse whistleblower goes through the whole program about actually what happened and why in these hospitals. And so go take a look at Tuesday's show, and you can get the lowdown from an insider whistleblower telling you exactly why and how we came to this large bat death toll number here in America. All right. Where are we at? Our civil liberties history. On this day in our civil liberties history, the year 1951, the House Un-American Activities Committee on this day published a guide to subversive organizations and publications. It was one of several lists during the Cold War that named groups and or individuals who the agency or organization deemed subversive. And then here's our segue to the news, and we'll bring Ruckus on. So China loves Trump. None of this is staged at all. It's all 100% organic. And then one more before we bring on Ruckus here. President Trump says, I was particularly impressed by those children. We know, Trump, you and the Epsteiners do like them on the younger side, don't you?
Senator.
Like few I've ever seen before. And I think I was particularly impressed by those children. They were happy. They were beautiful.
Ruckus, how you doing on this Thursday? All of that was totally organic. None of it was staged and fake.
Which part? Oh, all of it. Okay, yeah, of course. Of course, it's all organic. That's right. Yep. Mm-hmm. Sure. Man, what a Thursday. Thanks for having me.
Here's some more. This is from, here's a little, this is a different, about the same. Take a look at this ridiculousness. Chinese propaganda here at its finest. Yeah, they do stage events, crisis actors, paid actors. All this PR is staged. Think of Beatles mania here in America as one of many examples. Here's some Chinese propaganda. They do love Trump. Which is ridiculous. This is the ridiculous. It gets more ridiculous. Ruckus, what do you think? All that China just loves Trump.
It's really sad because the people here in America who love Trump have this idea that in China what's probably most likely happening on that video, in case you didn't know, you can't see them because they're off camera. So there's a bunch of crazy communist soldiers holding those kids' parents hostage. And if a single one of them stops jumping and celebrating and pretending like they love Trump, they get mowed down with a machine gun. Yeah, no, anyways. Yeah, it's all, I mean, I don't know what the incentive is for the kids to jump up, but like, how many of them even know who or what Donald Trump is? I doubt very many of them, Sam. They were probably like, yay,
Are those even kids? Are those not? How do we know they're not robots? How do we know
it's not? We're not there. We don't know anything, so who knows, right?
Here you go. Trump selling out America one more time. MAGA, you clowns.
How are your talks, sir?
It's great.
Did you talk about Taiwan?
Great place. Incredible. China's beautiful.
特朗普总统说谈得很好。How are your talks, sir?
It's great.
Did you talk about Taiwan?
What the heck?
That's posted by the White House, so I don't know what the. Why would you post this? It's just these. They look so just uncomfortable. Like it's just weird, creepy. Here's Trump at
yeah, that was like if Trump had like he's forced to say something. I guess that's what it sounds like. I don't know. That was very weird.
Very weird. That was posted by the White House. I don't know why they would post that weird, uncomfortable short clip there, but they did. Many say Trump's not going to heaven. I think Trump has said it himself, actually. But here is Trump photographed with Xi Jinping in front of the Temple of Heaven there. In communist China.
I guess he made it after all, Sam. I think what Trump said that he's known for saying as of recently is that I don't think there's anything I can do to get into heaven. So take that with a grain of salt.
So both countries agree Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. That's what the White House published here. China's laughing their ass off because they're like, yeah, we'll get to those reports. Go fight Iran for the next 20 years over their nuclear program. And we're just going to sit back here and friggin' laugh about you're burning out all of your resources over some made up nuke BS.
So China's feeding into the fantasy because it serves their purposes in the end.
Joe Kent, former top counter-terrorism dude, resigned over Iran war. He says China fully supports America getting sucked into yet another resource-consuming endeavor in the Middle East. Yeah.
You ever see that movie? You ever see that movie with Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore, The Wedding Singer? It's one of my all-time favorites. There's a scene in there where the main character, played by Adam Sandler, who's a wedding singer, of course, he's starting to have a mental breakdown, and one of his diehard competitors, played by John Lovitz, observes this and says, he's losing his mind, and I'm reaping all the benefits. That's how China is looking at us right now, right?
Indeed, indeed. And so this was, again, that's why, what's up with the jinx on ridiculousness? What is that about?
Oh, as you were posting your post for tonight, you used the word ridiculous, and I used the word ridiculous like 3 times in a post I was making at the exact same time. So, jinx.
Wow, that's pretty weird synchronicity. Yeah, you don't work for the NSA, do you?
Well, not. I mean, I don't receive a paycheck, so probably not. No, I'm just kidding. Not that I'm aware of. No.
Well, the title came from what's the title of the show? I can't even remember now. It's U.S. Yeah, China, U.S. a ridiculous difference, and that was via Simon. He sent me this video. We'll go to now. It's about 5 minutes. Bear with it, and just notice the difference between the two sides here, China and America. The ridiculous difference per Simon.
Ceremony, the meeting, the official meeting between the two sides now opens.
好，我们可以开始了。
Shall we begin?
我先
Let me say a few words
做一个
first,
致辞，然后请
and then
总统先生
I'd like to invite you, Mr. President, to deliver your opening remarks.
尊敬的特朗普总统先生，
President Trump,
很高兴啊，
I'm very
同你
pleased
在北京
to
见面
meet you in Beijing.
这是你时隔9年。
Welcome back to China after 9 years.
我们的会面现在可以说是举世瞩目。
The whole world is watching our meeting.
当前百年变局加速。
Currently, transformation not seen in a century is accelerating across the globe, and the international situation is fluid and turbulent. The world has come to a new
中
crossroads.
美两国能不能
Can China and the United States overcome the Thucydides trap
开创大国关系
and create
范式？
a new paradigm of major country
能不能
relations?
携手应对全球挑
Can we
战？
meet global challenges together
更多
and provide more stability for the world?
能不能着眼两国人民的福祉和人类前途？
Can we, in the interests of the well-being of our two peoples and the future of humanity, build a brighter future together for our bilateral relations?
可以说是历史之问。
These are the questions vital to history, to the world, and to the people.
也是我同您作为大
They are the questions
共同书写的。
of our times that you and I need to answer as leaders of major countries.
今年是美国独立
This year is the 250th anniversary of American independence.
表示祝贺。
Congratulations to you and to the American people.
中美
I always
之间的
believe
共同利益
that our two countries have more common interests than
中美
differences.
各自成功是彼此的机遇，
Success in one
中
is
美
an
关系
opportunity for the other,
世界的利好，
and a stable bilateral relationship is good for the world.
斗志俱伤。
China and the United States both stand to gain from cooperation and lose from confrontation. We should be partners, not rivals. We should help each other succeed and prosper together and find the right way for major countries to get along well with each other in the new era.
我期待着同总统先生
Mr. President, I look forward to our discussions on major issues important to our two countries and the world,
共同为中美
and
关
working
系
together with you
领好航。
to set the course for and steer the giant ship of China-US relations
2026年
so as to make 2026
成为中美关系继往开来的
a historic landmark year that opens up a new chapter in China-US relations.
我就先说
I will pause here and hand over to you, Mr. President. Thank you.
Well, President Xi, I want to thank you very much. First of all, that was an honor like few have ever seen before. And I think I was particularly impressed by those children. They were happy. They were beautiful. The military is obvious. It couldn't be better, but those children were amazing, and they represent so much. And I know they represent so much to you. You and I have known each other now for a long time. In fact, the longest relationship of our two countries that any president and president has had. And that's, to me, an honor. We've had a fantastic relationship. We've gotten along. When there were difficulties, we worked it out. I would call you, and you would call me. And whenever we had a problem, people don't know, whenever we had a problem, we worked it out very quickly. And we're going to have a fantastic future together. Such respect for China, the job you've done. You're a great leader. I say it to everybody. You're a great leader. Sometimes people don't like me saying it, but I say it anyway because it's true. I only say the truth. And I just want to say on behalf of all of the great delegation that we have the greatest businessmen, the biggest, and I guess the best in the world. We have amazing people, and they're all with me. Every single one of them, we asked the top 30 in the world, every single one of them said yes. And I didn't want the second or the third in the company. I wanted only the top. And they're here today to pay respects to you and to China. And they look forward to trade and doing business. And it's going to be totally reciprocal on our behalf. So I really look very much forward to our discussion. It's a big discussion. There are those that say this is maybe the biggest summit ever. They can never remember anything like it. I can say in the United States, people aren't talking about anything else. But it's an honor to be with you. It's an honor to be your friend. And the relationship between China and the USA is going to be better than ever before. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Trump does love the children, Ruckus.
Yeah, what was up with that?
It's embarrassing. Okay, China's like up here, top level academic lecture hall, university talking points. Trump is like, he's acting like a little child down here in the third grade, and freaking China's up here, PhD level international relations.
Well, that being said, I would imagine it's quite a difficult job for the Chinese interpreter to have to interpret to President Xi Jinping what Trump was saying and have it make some sort of sense. I mean, Xi Jinping was just going along and nodding and smiling and not shaking his head like you and I were, and on the backside, right? Like, what the heck is going on? So the interpreter probably made Trump sound a little bit better for good old G. That's my guess. Yeah, the kids thing. I'm like, what's up with this? Let's not forget that they both were looking like old men, like Biden. But just like Biden, Trump bringing up, oh, the kids, they're beautiful. I hope he wasn't sniffing their hair. But speaking of beautiful kids, I guess those kids that we blew up in Iran weren't necessarily so beautiful. Were they, sir? And everything that came out of Trump's mouth was he didn't mean it at all. You know this for a fact because he was not waving his hands around like a magic magician when he says these words. This is gonna be fantastic, and we're gonna do the things. And he wasn't doing any of the magic. He had his hands under the table, and he looked bored and slouched and tired. Maybe it's jet lag. I don't know. But yeah, the whole thing was quite embarrassing indeed. Just to compare what the two said. Yep, there you have it. It's apples to oranges. It's crazy. I mean, this is an incredibly old culture. We've been around for only 250 years, as he pointed out. He's like, hey, congratulations on your 250 years. I'm like, how long has China been around? A little bit longer than that. Just pointing it out. Anyway.
And he even said, we're in a new era, right? I mean, we've been reporting on it. And the key out of that intro statement there from Xi was the Thucydides trap. If I said that right, the Thucydides trap. He said it directly to Trump's face. And let me go through a little breakdown. Who posted this on the X? Ketb, and I got this via Simon on his feed. Anyway, the problem, U.S.-China relations have been sliding toward what Xi calls the collision. The exact word used is the I can't even pronounce it. Thucydides trap framing. Taiwan, trade, tech, Ukraine, Korea, every flashpoint live simultaneously. No stable framework has existed to manage the rivalry without escalation risk. The framework both sides agreed to constructive strategic stability for the next 3 years and beyond. Xi defined it: cooperation first, managed cooperation, predictable peace. Economic teams already reached a generally balanced and positive trade outcome a day before the formal summit began. Trump introduced each CEO individually to Xi inside the room. Taiwan got the sharpest language in the entire readout. Xi's warned mishandling of it could push the entire relationship into very dangerous territory. The U.S. readout mentioned trade and Iran. It did not mention Taiwan. Xi called it the most important issue in China-U.S. relations. One side is treating it as a red line. The other is treating it as a footnote. Elon Musk, Tim Cook, Jensen Huang, however you say his name, the chip maker there, NVIDIA, were in the room when Xi said it. Ukraine, the Korean Peninsula, and the Middle East were all covered with zero public comments. Trump called it the longest and best relationship between U.S. and Chinese leaders in history, while Xi's readout contained the most explicit Taiwan collusion warning in years. Constructive strategic stability is Beijing's phrase, not Washington's. And Beijing wrote the readout. They're showing you the handshake and the CEO photo ops, they're not showing you that both sides left with completely different versions of what just happened. Oh my. Yeah, so U.S. propaganda, yay, we love it. Not so much. Not so much on the Chinese side, sorry to say. They're just sitting there shaking their head. I can't believe this orange man is the president of America.
It's like the fine print on all, you know, when you get all the terms of services and it's all this globalese and jargon you're not familiar with. That's what we got coming from the Chinese side. And America's like, yep, looks great. Like, could you please summarize? No, everything's fine. Ask Grok. It's great.
There's some propaganda right out of Chinese embassy. This was before the before this meeting. Let's watch this propaganda. And they're known for pumping a lot of anti-American propaganda out of Chinese embassy account.
China and the United States, two leading global players, the world's two largest economies. How they interact with each other has far-reaching and global implications. To clash, confront each other, and wear each other down, or engage in sincerity and good faith. The history of China-US relations offers an unmistakable answer. Surging through the flames of World War II, the American Flying Tigers undertook the perilous Hump Airlift and fought shoulder to shoulder with the Chinese people against fascism. In the years of frozen ties, ping-pong diplomacy, where the small ball moved the big globe, enabled a handshake that crossed the Pacific Ocean. In the years that followed, China-US exchanges and cooperation brought out their respective strengths and delivered win-win results. Together, they fought terrorism, tackled the financial crisis, and battled Ebola. Time and again, people have seen that when China and the US join hands, they generate positive energy for the world. Today, China-US trade matches the annual GDP of a mid-sized country. 80,000 US companies invest in China. 80% of Apple's core suppliers have plants in China. Tesla's Shanghai Gigafactory accounts for half of its global output. All this shows that China and the US helping each other succeed and prospering together is a tangible prospect within reach. It will serve both countries and benefit the world. More importantly, the Chinese and American peoples both want a life of peace and happiness. Their joys and sorrows are much the same. Their online chats and in-person interactions reflect how the world should be. Neither China nor the US can remodel each other, but they can choose how they want to engage. The right choice is to commit to the principle of mutual respect, to hold the line on peaceful coexistence, and to strive for the prospect of win-win cooperation. The Earth is too small for China and the US to turn against and confront each other, and the Pacific Ocean is vast enough for both to prosper in their own ways. China and the US must coexist peacefully on this planet for all time to come. A ready and open China is right here. It is now for the US to choose the right course.
Ha 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 ha. I can think of at least one of those two countries who is not going to do that, like, ever. And sad to say, it's my own country.
We'll never choose the right course.
No, I mean, it's like they're like, it goes everything that video said goes against the nature of the American empire, and it's just not going to happen, buddy. It's like, wow, talk about a pipe dream. I wish, trust me, I wish, but wow, not going to happen.
China warns U.S. that mishandling Taiwan could trigger clashes and conflict. Yeah, and we don't even want to talk about it. Anything gets tense, Trump don't even want to talk about it because he's a little bitch. Sorry, MAGA, the biggest, best golden negotiator in the world. Bullshit. He just got punked by China in front of the whole world. But you're not going to hear that on Fox News.
I wouldn't put it past the White House to take that video we just watched and respin it with new audio that shows China threatening to kick our ass or something.
I wouldn't doubt it, man. So that's China. Yeah, our global fascist government there is all the big tech CEOs, the banks, they all went there. And so that shows you they're all working behind the scenes, no matter what they publicly show. Operation Lockstep, remember the bat times? They all work together. Hey, the White House told me that the bats came from China and caused all the major problems, and nobody even wants to talk about it today. I mean, it's a freaking joke because they're all working together. Operation Lockstep. Don't forget
It always
it.
makes me nervous when that many like powerful people are all conglomerated in one place, because
Almost like it's a
terrible
conspiracy.
things could happen, and it just reminds you that they're clearly protected by God.
It's almost like a global conspiracy against the rest of us, isn't it? Now
there's that.
That's all the Chinese coverage. Maybe we have a little bit here and there, but I want to go back to this story, Ruckus. I saw this, and we don't cover Candace Owens, the Charlie Kirks, and all this internet drama, but she did drop this. I find it interesting. She said that this is the script Erica Kirk had at the White House the most recent assassination attempt against Trump.
The correspondence dinner.
Yeah, the correspondence dinner. Here's what Candace Owens said. As we reported on our show, approximately an hour following the White House correspondence shooting, the White House military office sent an email directing the amplification of Erica Kirk's I Want to Go Home video clip. Unfortunately, the email was sent to the wrong internal groups. They then attempted to have IT revoke the email. When that failed, they ordered every person to destroy the email. I have mutually retyped the relevant portion of the email that they wanted to destroy. As explained on my show yesterday, this is because the DoD's IT department has imprinted the email with canary tactics to identify individual leaks. So the question now is, why did the military so quickly prioritize making Erica Kirk the face of the White House Correspondents' Dinner shooting? Is that normal emergency protocol, or was this unnaturally pre-planned? And here's the alleged email. Addendum, Erica Kirk video clip of Erica Kirk leaving the ballroom area and stating, I just want to go home, is driving the heaviest engagement of all incident-related content across platforms. Current digital assessment, strongest emotional response asset associated with incident, high cross ideological circulation, elevated repost velocity among political commentary accounts, increasing use as symbolic framing device regarding media conduct and national stability narratives. Recommendation, all communications channels should amplify this clip, coordinate with our digital partners and approved surrogates to elevate reach and ensure dominant placement in the overnight information environment. Most viral engagement presently centered around attendee reaction clip, now circulating broadly across platforms. External commentary, expect aligned outside commentators to independently amplify. Professionalism to productive response media conduct during evacuation, political rhetoric escalation concerns, broader executive stability themes. Wowzers. So if any of that's true, your clownfluencers on the internet are taking marching orders directly from the Department of War here now and other government agencies. If this is true, which I have no idea if it is or not, what do you think? It does fall in line here with Crashly Sinclair, Elon's baby mama, with what she's been saying over the last month about these clownfluencers are all paid shills, essentially pushing propaganda. What do you think, Ruckus?
It fits perfectly. There's a few things that have my spidey senses tingling, is because Candace Owen would be the perfect target to purposely feed misinformation that could then be used to discredit her later. So I always keep that in mind, especially when it comes to things like this. This is not like it's not like a source. I don't know. This is a little too scandalous for me to. It's interesting. I might dig into it deeper later It took me a minute to figure out exactly what I was looking at and what was going on, to be honest with you. So there might be a there, or it could be just cleverly crafted conspiracy candy to trick people or keep them busy, or like, aha, yeah, confirmation bias, echo chamber. I mean, keeping so many, you can give them all the pieces that, as long as they're not actually like doing anything about it, as long as nobody's actually getting caught, being convicted, no changes are happening. Sometimes it's okay for the public to know, get a peek behind the scenes and see the wizard, right? It's wild. So I don't know. I mean, I'm on the fence, I guess. It could be, or it might not be. Either way, it doesn't look good, Sam.
Doesn't look good. And again, I don't know. It's unconfirmed. I don't follow Candace Owens or any of the drama around Charlie Kirk. It's all shady and looks real bad, is all I got to say about it. Let's remember this post from Jason Bassler, Free Thought Project. He says, we will know when our disinformation program is complete, when everything the American public believes is false. That's former CIA Director William Casey. Quote, more about that. The CIA owns everyone of any significance in major media. Former CIA Director William Colby. So
my favorite part about that quote that you just shared there is there's a good chance that quote might be taken out of context. There might be some misinformation involving that quote, which just fits so perfectly. And I'm like, nah, of course. Yeah, so I mean, teach their own, do your own research there. But there's a good chance that was taken out of context. But it doesn't matter, because it tracks, just like the Candace Owens thing. So, but I think a lot of this serves the purpose. I think the proverbial they, whoever they are, they really do want at least a certain portion of us to distrust them. I mean, it serves their purposes. I just wrap your head around that. If you look how many people leave the CIA, right? And then they go around and now they're doing podcasts, right? I'm like, come on. Anyways, I don't want to get conspiratorial here or shot.
It's not legitimate. It's not legitimate, because if they're real whistleblowers, you get raided, you get arrested, you get thrown in jail, and you get whacked. And that's the history of it.
Your plane crashes, your car has an accident, you suddenly have a heart attack, your wife poisons you with fentanyl, whatever,
Look at what they did to the NSA whistleblowers, William Binney. I forget, even there was a couple of them, high up guys, and they put them through hell. Okay. And so if you're a legitimate, real whistleblower blowing the whistle on classified important information, they come after you, man. You're not going around the podcast circuit saying the government's evil all day if it's about anything. Okay. And so I'm sorry, that's the reality we live in, but it is. And we don't have a Congress. Ruckus, let's move on here. There was another vote today on Iran war powers resolution. It narrowly lost in the House. The House of Representatives earlier today narrowly defeated a war powers resolution that would have directed President Trump to end the U.S. war against Iran. The bill failed in a tied vote, 212 to 212, with 3 Republicans, Massey, Barrett, and Fitzpatrick, voting to end the war. And all the rest were Democrats. So there you go. All the Republicans, the war party. Might as well have George Bush as president once again, because the neocons are in control of the Republican Party, and they do love themselves some war, but they'll never go fight the wars.
Are those people who voted that way get any money from AIPAC? Just curious.
I don't know, but they're not going to go fight the wars. I can guarantee you that.
Well, neither are their children or their grandchildren.
Their senator sons, like quite literally. Okay, all this is going on. What is going on with Iran? They've been pretty quiet. Iran foreign ministers at the BRICS meeting there in India, Argachai, he had this to say. He said earlier today from that BRICS meeting, says Iran was a victim of warmongering, but it has not the will to surrender, stressing that the Iranian people stood courageously to confront the enemy's conspiracies achieve justice and independence and defend their sovereignty and territorial integrity. He added that it must be clear to everyone that Iran is unconquerable, and the most pressure it faces, the stronger and more united it becomes, while affirming that Tehran is prepared to fight with all our strength in defense of freedom and our land and equality, prepared to pursue and protect diplomacy. So all these guys sound like very academic, on top of their game, and then you're Trump. I like the kids. You know what I mean? It's like we're in two different worlds, and dumbed down America seems to love the Trump "I like kids" line, when these guys are like PhD level diplomats spitting out all of the academic language on the same plane. And then here's Trump embarrassing us with his fake orange tan and a squirrel on his head, talking about kids. Like, what's going on here, Ruckus?
Or yelling at everybody like they are kids. Like, Iran better shape up, better clean up its room, or they're going to get grounded.
Or they're going to get bombed. They love being bombed. We've heard many times from our government that the Iranian people love being bombed.
Wouldn't you? I mean, aren't you just a little bit jealous by now? I mean, we hear how many times people around the world love having bombs dropped on their heads. I wish that would happen to us, but alas, we're not that lucky.
It may before you know it.
I don't want that. It's terrible.
I don't know. Russia said they're fixing to fit the Reznik hypersonic missile with nuclear warhead. So I don't know, bro. That's pretty damn strong threat from Putin that he said a couple days ago. So I don't know if any of this shit's even real, but hey, it's if it is, forget about it, because there is no defense against a hypersonic missile.
That's what they said about, fill in the blank. And it's just very useful, isn't it? I mean, does it really have to have that destructive power, or does everybody just have to believe that it does? What's the difference?
Effectively none.
Right, do you want to find out?
Yeah.
Right? You're like, I don't want to find out if it's real or not, right?
F around and find out. We have one like brief clip publicly available of Russia's hypersonic missile hitting Ukraine allegedly, and it's just like some blurry video, and you could barely see it in the background. A giant flash of light. It could have been anything. Who freaking knows? You know what I mean? But they say this proves right here that the hypersonic Reznik Russian missile's unstoppable. So you guys better watch your butt. And then EU, NATO says, well, we need $1 quadrillion to fight this. And doesn't it feel like they're all in the back room just laughing their asses off? You know what I mean?
Because meanwhile they have like space-based weapons and
directed energy weapons,
the rod of God,
the rod of God, lasers freaking mounted to the back of dolphins, and it just goes on and on and on. CENTCOM chief says U.S. cannot verify that's what kicked off the Iran war here, that ritualistic blood sacrifice. They can't verify attacking the Iranian schools and hospitals here now. You can't verify that those are intended targets. The Iranian Red Cross Society, the country's primary humanitarian relief organization, reported that at least 763 Iranian schools and 316 healthcare facilities were damaged or destroyed by U.S. aardvark land bombing campaign at the beginning of this war. Wow.
Echoes of Gaza, Sam.
They want a Gaza Iran, but Iran is pushing back. Iran's schools and hospitals in ruins. Here's the failing New York Times. They did a big report about it. And you could see right here. Yeah, they targeted all these schools. And so we know that's where the terrorists are, at these schools. They blew up their universities, their primary schools, their kindergarten schools, and it just goes on and on and on and on there.
This is a much studied, well-known, and well-respected. They're like, man, this is the best military tactic in the world. You can find this in every history book, military tactic. They're all like, yes, this is what you do. This is the way we do war. You target schools, hospitals, doctors, kids. That's the... No. This is not what we do. This is a fairly new thing, and this is a very, very aardvark thing to do. And I'm shocked, disappointed, disgusted. I don't even know the word for it. The fact that we, the United States of America, would partake in such maneuvering is just, I'm flabbergasted. I cannot believe this is happening. And it feels like there's literally nothing I can do to have it stop going on my behalf and on my tax dollar, on my money, on my dime. It's crazy.
This is not what the good guys do. Here's that ritualistic sacrifice that kicked it off in Minab. And we played the video of the army lady that said, yeah, they know exactly what they have, targeted missile systems. They know exactly what they were hitting and why this was no mistake. And so you can see here on this little map, systematic targeting of healthcare facilities, schools, and universities in Iran. Straight up war crimes across the board. But hey, Iran can't get a nuke. Let's hear now from U.S. Central Command post earlier today. They said this testimony on the posture of United States Central Command. United States Central Command was created in direct response to the threats posed by the Islamic Republic of Iran, and I am the 16th CENTCOM commander to deal with the Iranian problem set. For 47 years, the Iranian regime has terrorized the region and made hostility to the United States a core tenet of its rule. Brad Cooper. Let's hear from. First, I guess we've been at war with Iran for 47 freaking years. Let's hear from Brad Cooper, head of U.S. Central Command.
U.S. Central Command was created in direct response to the threats posed by the Islamic Republic of Iran, and I am the 16th.
These guys are just making up shit at this point, and look at his stupid medals.
CENTCOM commander to deal with the Iranian problem set. For 47 years, the Iranian regime has terrorized the region and made hostility to the United States a core tenet of its rule. Their hostile, lethal track record against the United States is well documented, but I don't know that it is always well understood. Here's a data point. In just the last 30 months prior to the commencement of Epic Fury, Iranian-supported terror groups have attacked U.S. troops and diplomats more than 350 times, the equivalent of an attack more than every third day, killing 4 U.S. service members and wounding nearly 200 more. After more than 2 years of Iranian attempts to leverage October 7th of 2023 to tear the region apart, at the direction of the President, United States Central Command initiated Operation Epic Fury. In less than 40 days, CENTCOM forces achieved our military objectives.
He said it's because Iran's going to tear the region apart. Nothing about nukes.
Most notably, we degraded Iran's ability to project power outside its borders and threaten the region and threaten our interests. As an example, we can all remember April and October of 2024, hundreds of Iranian ballistic missiles and drones raining down in the Middle East. Today, Iran can no longer attack with that mass and scale. And further, with 90% of its defense industrial base destroyed, Iran won't be able to reconstitute those weapons for years.
Leaked intel published by the Washington Compost contradicts everything they're saying. So I don't know. Bro.
They keep the only thing that Trump's got going for him and the administration is they keep repeating this line about Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. I mean, even during his trip to China, like, oh, well, it's the new, do you condemn Hamas? It's like, you can't even like, hi, how's it going? Good morning. How's the weather? No, it's like, first of all, don't we all agree that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon? It's just over and over again. And it's just
everything has to be prefaced with their bullshit narrative, right?
Right.
Oh,
but the thing is like, but
North Korea has a right to exist, don't they, Ruckus?
Yeah, exactly. But they didn't stop on this one because that worked so well for them. And also the 6 feet and wear a mask and all that. They didn't stop to think, oh, we might actually have to justify what we're saying. The Venezuela thing is a perfect example. Everyone let them get away with that. But this one is getting quite a lot of pushback around the world, right? So they're like, wow, we might have gone a little too far here. So now they've got to spend the time to actually, well, here's why Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. So now they're laying down this story. But again, it just completely falls apart when you look at the history of it, and what exactly Iran is being aggressive against is against our aggressiveness against them in that region. So it's like they're literally saying, well,
Iran they built their country around all our military
the meme,
bases.
yeah, that's what I mean. It's like we put all this pressure in their it'd be like the Chinese just coming and camping out in your backyard and just popping up everywhere. Like, wait a minute, I'm starting to get nervous here. What's going on? And you might send a scout over there, and they'll be like, look at this dirty terrorist coming over here to scout my. What are you doing?
They are,
get out of here.
The California city of Arcadia, the mayor just admitted she was a Chinese spy.
I know, that was crazy.
They literally
are.
Wild. They are doing what you're saying, and Trump says he loves it. Here's a Lego video about the history of Iran. New Iranian Lego video about the 1953 coup there. They leave that part out about the 47-year war against Iran.
Yeah. 1953. They stole our democracy. Take you back, take you back, take you back. You overthrew Mossadegh, put the Shah on our back, stole our oil, trained your dogs to attack, but in 70 hours we rose up and took it back. 1953, CIA and MI6 made the plan, overthrew our elected leader, Mossadegh the man. He said the oil belongs to Iran, not to the West. So they paid the general, staged the coup d'etat, and did the rest. Installed the Shah like a puppet on a golden throne. Savak torture chambers, people dying alone. Decades of repression, foreign boots on our neck, but the fire in our hearts never once left. Take it back, take it back, take it back. You overthrew Mossadegh, put the Shah on our back, stole our oil, trained your dogs to attack, but in 70 we rose up and took it back. The people marched in the streets, million strong, shouted down the tanks, proved the Shah was wrong. They tried to stop us with bullets, with fear, with lies, but the revolution burned brighter in our eyes. We kicked out the Shah, we kicked out the throne, told the foreigners this land is our own. From the ashes of the coup d'etat, a new nation was born, independent, defiant, standing tall till the dawn. Now they're back again with new tricks, same old lies, talking peace at the table while they're sharpening their knives. They own the chaos, then cry about the cost, but we've been burned before, we know what they lost. 90 million strong, lessons carved in our bone. You can try the same game, but we've already grown. Every time you push, we only rise taller. History taught us well, we will never fall, brother. Sacred defense, we took it back once, we'll take it back again. Yeah.
That was a good one.
We've been at war way longer than 47 years. We've been at war with them since 1953, bro.
Bro, they did this goes way back, bro. Don't you know they kidnapped Charles Lindbergh's baby? They sank the Titanic. Oh,
I saw a top aardvark is floating.
I got you. They even did 9/11. They did 9/11, according to the president of the Zionist Organization America. He says he's discovered new evidence that links Iran directly to the. Come on. This is getting so silly. By the way, I don't normally address people in the chat if they're a troll, but I'm gonna point out something real quick. I know you're brand new here and you have no idea. This is not a left-wing nut job kind of show. We're not left-wing or right-wing. We're not for either side. I personally, I'm not speaking for Sam, but I know he agrees with me. I dislike Trump just as much as I dislike Biden. I dislike corruption. I dislike crime. I dislike what this country has become under many administrations, left and right. I'm in the middle. I'm a constitutionalist. And also, I don't support Israel or the genocide or the killing of innocent people. And check this out. I'm a Christian. Whoa. So there you go. Welcome to the show. Stick around. You might learn something.
You just said a whole bunch of hate there.
I know.
Yeah. This show, if you're new to it, throws people for a loop and triggers them for some reason. Yeah, we're not left-wingers here. we're trying to abide by the new counterterrorism guidance from the federal government so they don't call us domestic terrorists here now. So
I live in Texas and I own guns. Yeehaw.
Yeehaw. Wow, John Bolton here. Mustache Man is back. John Bolton, let's hear his comments on this whole situation. We kind of missed John Bolton. Remember Trump administration indicted him?
I miss his mustache, Sam. I don't know if I miss Bolton that much, but definitely the mustache.
Everybody's favorite neocon, John Bolton, here now.
Let's jump over to his next trip. He's going to China. We just today learned that it's actually a great leader, Xi Jinping, and he is well respected. And so there's no new bromance, or what is happening?
Well, Trump sees international relations as embodied in the relations of heads of state. So if he's friends with Xi Jinping, he thinks that the U.S.-China state-to-state relations are in great shape. He calls Xi king. He said at the Osaka G20 meeting when they were having a bilateral, you're the greatest leader of China since Mao Zedong, which caught everybody a little bit by surprise. But then he said, in fact, you're the greatest leader in Chinese history. That's how things go. He thinks he's friends with Xi Jinping and with Vladimir Putin. And I will guarantee you, that's not how they see Trump. I think they both see him as an easy mark.
And they laughed. Did you hear that?
John Bolton saying that
this is not good. I mean, we're laughing about it now, but when you sit down, if you understand the way geopolitics, this is some serious business. This is not good that we look this way in the eyes of other world leaders. But what do I know?
More from Joe Kant. He said the war in Iran has settled into an unsustainable cycle of brief military action, then a return to a costly ceasefire, followed by rumors of a deal that never seems to materialize. This has left most Americans wondering how we can get out of this war before things get worse. This week, he says, I wrote about how we can break this cycle and get out of the war. And he was saying we should have never gotten this war in the first place because Iran is not an imminent threat to the United States, as we continue to report here now at Weaponized News. And the State Department says we're in it to defend aardvark land and our own self-interest in the region. So there you go. Let's take our live commercial break here now at the top of the hour. Everybody go to weaponizednews.com/shop. Get yourself a holograph sticker over there. We got holograph stickers, white background stickers, and clear stickers. We got coffee mugs, t-shirts, baseball caps. Go take a look. The link's in the description below this video, weaponizednews.com/shop. We take donations as well. Buy me a coffee, Bitcoin wallet address, and Cash App links all in the description below this video. On the front page of weaponizednews.com, you can see a secure PayPal link there for donations. Become a subscriber, Weaponized News Substack channel. There, everything's free. You get the full show over there, a summary version. You can read through and see if you feel like watching the whole show. If it's going to be of interest to you and add value to your life, which is what we're trying to do here with the information we're providing, is add more value for you to make important decisions as things are escalating here at a rapid pace. Some would say at warp speed. So become a paid subscriber at Weaponized News Substack, another way to help support the program. All the links are in the description below this video. Any which way you choose to support us is truly appreciated. Thank you to all the subscribers, patrons of the store, and give us that like, share, subscribe, push that notification button. All of that is free. Go ahead and plug away, Ruckus.
Sure. As soon as you're done shopping for all that mighty fine Weaponized News merchandise at Sam's website, make sure you check out me and my friends, what we got going on at our website, Alternate Current radio.com, where we have a few handful of amazing and unconventional, wonderful variations for you to peruse here as far as podcasting and video content is concerned, including, of course, our flagship program, The Boiler Room, as well as our appearances over with our friend and colleague Patrick Henningsen at the Sunday Wire. And then I've got my friends and my colleagues, the Mystical American Patriot Society and the Odd Man Out podcast. You can find all of that in the menu right here. We also do music. You can learn about us, send me an email by contacting me right there, or just hit me up on my X account. It's AC for my name, Adam Clark, _word slinger. And that's where you can send me a DM if you want help with word slinger stuff, or if you want to send me hate mail there too, that's fine. But I do websites and graphic design and things like that for small business owners, entrepreneurs, and other content creators. So there we go. Pretty easy.
There you go. Give us a follow on the glorified messaging app, formerly known as Twitter, now X. They're at Weaponized News, at AC_wordslinger. You can see it right there on the screen. All right. Thank you for bearing with us through that commercial break. We just went through a whole lot of news in an hour there and gave you one little quick commercial. I don't see much other media out there doing that. That's probably why we're not making enough money over here to afford to keep up with the pace of inflation. Anyhow, welcome back to the second half of Weaponized News on this Thursday, May 14th, 2026 edition. We have Ruckus riding shotgun with us today. Okay, on to, I believe we're on the economic section of the show here now. Oh, no, we have to do some Epstein reporting, as we do every day here now. Never stop talking about Epstein as the Department of Justice continues to cover up. Here's some more fallout. This is Kish Nam Arathai. This guy's a congressman out of Illinois. I guess you can't say the S. Yeah. Anyhow.
That's a strong American name right there.
Yeah. Chris Nam or Thali, congressman.
That's about American as apple pie and baseball right there. I tell you what, everybody's naming their kids that.
Let's hear what you had to say about more Epstein fallout here.
Well, I think the through line here is that there are corrupt interests that unfortunately are corrupting the administration of justice in this particular case. You're absolutely right. There was a very important document that was displayed at this particular hearing showing that the DOJ itself back in 2019 identified numerous co-conspirators to Jeffrey Epstein. But that very document came back to us produced with redactions of at least 6 individuals, and none of them have been disclosed. They might be among us continuing their predatory practices. And among the others, the only 2 people who've been prosecuted in any way is Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. And Maxwell now is seeking a pardon, and she might actually get one from Trump.
Oh, I'm 99% sure now that she's going to get one from Trump. That's the thing at the beginning of the year. If you asked me, I would be like, no way that's going to happen. Now I'm like, oh, yeah, that's going to happen, baby.
Well, they're redacted, so they're innocent, right?
Also, I like what he said. He said that these predators might be walking among us.
They are.
They might be? Okay. Yeah, maybe there's a small chance, but yeah, of course they are, obviously. Yikes, especially if they got away with it, which they did and continue to.
Here's a report, Becca Day. Again, she's doing good reports on the TikTok, connecting dots here in the Epstein files. Jason Ben. Let's take a look at a little bit of her report.
Another man that I'm suspicious of. Okay, what else is new? But this one specifically is just, I'm ruminating and I need to talk about it. So the man in this photo with Ghislaine Maxwell is named Jason Ben. I have talked about Jason Ben briefly before, in passing, as he is the owner of Ocean Drive magazine, which Melania Trump was a cover model of shortly after she began dating Donald Trump. And that was really kind of her big break into the modeling industry, outside of the Camel cigarette ad, which also came after she met Donald Trump. And Ocean Drive magazine being her first big break after coming to the United States and meeting meeting Donald Trump brings the circumstances in which she received her specific kind of visa into question even further. If I'm not mistaken, Jason Bin's name came up whenever we were discussing Eddie and Jules Trump, the Israeli South African billionaires who are not related to Donald Trump but would purchase elite models from John Casablancas. And Eddie and Jules were successful in outbidding Paolo Zampoli and Jeffrey in the purchase of elite models. And I think that's when Jason Bin's name came up because of this photo. We have Ivana Trump and Eddie Trump in this photo, and Jason Bin and his daughter also in this photo. For some reason, like, the photos from this event were like burned into my brain. I don't like how this man parades his little girl around, and since then I've just been like trying to learn more about him.
Dude, and it goes on, and that's like what, that was only 1 minute and 21 seconds. Says a 5-minute video. That's deep dives, connecting the dots there, Ruckus. It's so deep.
Make sure you go to the show notes and continue watching that one on your own.
It's so deep, man, and they're all connected, and it is a big joke on the rest of us, honestly, at this point. Here's ZBS News report about
Did you say ZBS?
ZBS, formerly known as CBS, but now ZBS, with Barry Weiss leading up the news department.
Jeffrey Epstein used a major American corporation to move women and girls across borders. We've known now for a couple of months that Epstein used an American Express black card. That's a card for American Express's most wealthy clients to book hundreds of international flight itineraries, primarily for women and girls from Eastern Europe. But new information from the files this week shows that this goes even deeper. Some of these itineraries were completely fabricated, created specifically to help women or girls obtain visas. Amex had a dedicated relationship manager on Epstein's account named Natasha Malakova, and emails appear to show her arranging fake booking itineraries for visa purposes. In one exchange from 2012, Epstein's assistant Leslie Groff contacted the Amex rep, asking her to arrange a fully refundable trip for a woman or girl who needed, in Groff's words, quote, proof of hotel stay in air for an interview with the consulate. The Amex rep wrote back asking directly, is this reservation needed only for visa purposes? It's against Amex policy. Malakova then offered a workaround anyway, saying she could hold a reservation for a hotel and accommodation until that evening. After the consulate appointment had taken place, Groff wrote back and told her to go ahead and cancel the trip. She signed off to Malakova with, "You've been great." Epstein's assistant Leslie Groff appears to have been central in coordinating all of these bookings, working directly with Amex's elite travel team, including Malakova. It's worth noting Groff has not been criminally charged. Her attorneys also say that she has no knowledge of any criminal activity related to Epstein. We've asked Amex whether their relationship manager Malakova raised red flags internally at the time, and whether she still works for American Express. For its part, earlier this year, Amex told us that it strongly condemns human trafficking, that it terminated Epstein's account after his 2019 arrest, and that it regrets having him as a customer. But what this ultimately shows us is how Epstein used his extraordinary wealth and the access that came with it to move young women and girls across the world through an iconic American company. And
American Express, it's everywhere you want to be, right? And sometimes where you don't want to be.
Wowzers. House Oversight Committee releases the transcripts of White and Lutnick testimonies. We'll post that link at Weaponized News Substack as well. You can see right here for those that want to read through those transcripts.
Lutnick actually showed up. He didn't have to like take his kids to school or something.
And he wasn't even wearing this mask.
Oh.
And so an excerpt out of there, when asked about this mask, Lutnick, when asked at the deposition before the House Oversight Committee, he was asked about the masks on Epstein Island hanging from the walls of the room on Epstein Island in a makeshift dentist office. You've got to be kidding me. That is the most ridiculous, ruckus, and absurd thing I've ever heard. What a bald man have hair. Look, I mean, I don't have many, but at least I've got some. That is not remotely me. That's nonsense. It looks exactly like him to me. to me.
I'm going to play devil's advocate on this one. I wouldn't say it looks exactly like him, but it does bear an uncanny, striking resemblance. Now, here's where it gets fun, because I bet you anything until this became a viral thing. I bet you if you were to like enter that mask in like some sort of Google image comparison search, you might get like a lot of different responses. But now everything is so flooded that the AI models in the search would probably, they would say this is a 98% match just because it's scraping the web and everyone's connecting that mask to his face. So the AI would be like, well, the humans think this looks like this guy, and what we get trained by the humans. So I bet you anything, if you were to do a comparison search, it's going to say, yep, that's like a 98% match to this guy, which is not helping. And that doesn't prove anything, obviously. But it's funny he used the word ridiculous. Talk about synchronicity right there. That's wild. Anyways, I don't know. I wasn't there, but that's a bit of a stretch. I think there's more important. There's real things to inquire about rather than, hey, why does this mask look like you on the wall? Because it could look like 100 million people on the planet.
He's never going to admit to being an MK Ultra controller abuser. He's never going to admit to that.
We're never going to see those files. I don't know if that's in our story later, but anyway.
Let's move on to, that's all the Epstein reporting we got for today. I have much more, but due to the interest of time, we have to move on. Let's move on to the...
Dude, you could do a show every day just going through the newest stuff related to the Epstein crap. In fact, you could do that with all of this crap. You can't do that with the Fort Knox audit because it didn't happen. You can't do that with all the money that you saved through Doge because that didn't happen. Well, anyways, you know the drill.
Here's, I think we played this yesterday, but again, they're very worried about security now at their data centers as we're on the data center section. Here's BlackRock CEO Larry Finkelstein saying that he's concerned that someone could attack a data center with a cheap drone here now. I don't know why anybody would want to do that. Don't do that.
And let me also, though, bring back the whole notion of what's going on in the Middle East, where there's going to be huge opportunities there. But now, because of drone warfare, we have to relook at all forms of security and the need for rebuilding the GCC region to rebuild it so that it's going to be in a position where it's not going to be obstructed by drone warfare. So many more things are going to have to be underground. But even here in the United States, if we're going to be building, let's say, these 1 gigawatt data centers, how do we make sure we're not protecting those $50 billion, $75 billion investments? We have to relook at everything because of the role of drone warfare. Right now, we're looking at it internationally, but one of my concerns is, could it be a domestic terrorism using a $3,000 drone? So all of these things are actually opportunities, not problems. It's going to require, as we said, trillions of dollars of capital. Governments cannot build these out alone. They don't have the wherewithal. And two, their deficits are starting to mounting. And we spend too little time talking about the U.S. deficits and other countries' deficits. So this is going to all...
In the background, this is on the back of what we've been reporting. They released it last week on the back of the U.S. counterterrorism strategy report, this 16-page document right here naming trannies, anarchists, and anti-Americans as the #1 terror threat here now.
Wow. Well, there's a lot to this little thing that man just said. And who is that man again? Oh, that's right. A very important man, if you know who that is. This is frightening. I don't like it when they come right out and say these things because a nut job would be like, hey, that's a good idea, #1. But that's not going to happen. More than likely, there'll be something will happen and be like, well, here's what happened. They'll tell you what happened, and this is giving me an indication.
They'll flag their own data center and say, well, see, now
I don't even know if they're willing to do that.
Robots.
I don't know if they're willing to go that far, but they'll hit something. But I mean, I just watched that clip and I just saw in my head, all I heard was like poof, and just like that, like reading from a history book, and just like that, consumers were cut off forever from purchasing their own drones. You see what I'm saying? So, and I see us moving in that direction. We're going to get cut off from a lot of this stuff. Elon Musk runs around and says everybody's going to get a robot. No, nobody's going to get a robot. They're going to get the robots, and the robots are going to be used to protect their precious data centers. Okay, like the good little robot dogs with the machine guns attached to it, and they're worried about drones. They're going to have the drones flying overhead, surveilling and all that stuff. Yeah, but we're not going to be allowed to have drones. We're not going to be allowed to have robots. We're probably not going to be allowed to use the AI. Maybe we'll get some sort of cheap version of it. But this is all getting militarized. It's all becoming a national security thing. These data centers will probably, in the near future, be the most protected, hardened places on Earth. Probably even more protected than Trump's precious ballroom or his big, beautiful reflecting pool, whatever the hell that's for.
That's for some, well, they're doing all kinds of Masonic rituals there.
It's ridiculous.
Let's hear, this is a long report. I'll just play a couple minutes from Ben Swan in regard to technocracy, essentially on the trip over there with Trump to China.
President Donald Trump has touched down in China for high-level talks about war and trade and the Strait of Hormuz, and something else that may change your life more than any foreign conflict ever could: artificial intelligence. And here's what's interesting here, because Trump didn't just bring diplomats to China. He brought the titans of tech. Take a look. There is the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, Elon Musk, Apple CEO Tim Cook, the president and CEO of Boeing, Kelly Ortberg, the CEO of Citigroup, Jane Fraser, the co-founder of Blackstone, Steven Schwartzman, and Cisco CEO Chuck Robbins. These are the people who are building the machines, the ones building the algorithms, the elites, if you want to call them that, building the future. And that's only the names that we've been told about. We're also hearing there.
And that whole Ben Swan report will be posted at Weaponized News Substack.
He's always been consistently good. Good on him. Kudos to Ben Swan.
Let's hear Tucker. I listened to Tucker's whole, almost his whole show last night, Cooking Dinner, his AI show. Everybody should probably listen to it. He goes over a lot of details, but here's a quick clip for those that don't know about what the largest AI data center being built in the United States in Utah. Here's a breakdown from Tucker about that.
In the outcry over a proposed data center in Utah, in a fairly sparsely populated, pretty remote county in Utah, most of which is sparsely populated, in which will be built what's being billed as the largest data center in the world. Enormous. 40,000 acres. 40,000 acres. 62 square miles, multiples the size of Manhattan. Huge, impossible to imagine. And that data center, which is basically a series of interconnected, low-slung, vinyl-clad warehouses in which sit not people making things, but computers computing things, that data center, once completed, will draw about 9 gigawatts of power. How much is a gigawatt? Well, it's a billion watts. It's one step from a terawatt, which is 1 trillion watts. 9 gigawatts. Now, how much is 9 gigawatts? Well, 9 gigawatts is more than twice what the entire state of Utah now uses. Every human being in the millions of people who live in Utah, all of them combined, all the manufacturing in Utah, all the ski lifts, all of it, every air conditioning unit, every electric heater, every Tesla, all of them combined use less than half that amount of electricity. That's an amazing amount of electricity.
It is.
Every time I hear gigawatts, I can't help but think of Back to the Future. That's a lot of power. That's crazy. That's a lot of space, too. 62 square miles. What was the acreage? 40,000? 400? Well, hold on. Math.
40,000 acres.
Yeah, I almost gave them too much credit, but still, that's insane. That's wild.
62 square miles. Yeah, none of this is for our own benefit. Here's Greg Reese report, AI data centers and the New World Order. And we heard Xi Jinping say to Trump's face, we're in a new era and we're in a new world order, as we continue to report here at Weaponized News for the last 3 years now.
The AI data centers in America have already become hugely unpopular. The noise pollution from their cooling systems reach up to 100 decibels and run non-stop. They are drawing down aquifers in areas that are already in short supply, turning the water brown and tainting it with a disinfectant smell. And there is no benefit to the local community. A U.S. Chamber of Commerce report found that each data center provides about 157 jobs. Because of all this, developers have been using non-disclosure agreements with local officials, and projects are announced only weeks before voting for approval. There are now nearly 200 active opposition groups across the United States, and it's growing fast. The official story is that the U.S. needs to stay competitive to beat China in an artificial intelligence arms race, but that story does not add up. The United States has already built over 4,000 data centers. China ranks at number 4 with 368. What they appear to be is the infrastructure for a new financial system, one that includes mass surveillance and autonomous weapon systems to protect it. The US dollar system is quickly collapsing, which would devastate the entire world economy. The only solution being played out is the AI agentic economy, which requires a massive amount of computing power. This new AI agentic system will be run by autonomous software entities that can own wallets, earn and spend money, create contracts, and transact with each other without human intermediaries. This addresses the debt problem by growing the economy faster than the debt accumulates. Like the petrodollar, it extends US dollar hegemony without fixing its core issue, the debt. The Bank for International Settlements is the bank for central banks. It is immune from any national law, and its employees have diplomatic immunity. It answers to no government on earth, and every central bank is a member. BRICS only appears to be in opposition to Western banking. It is not. BRICS is aligned with the rest of the world in adopting this new AI digital banking system. But a growing number of analysts agree that this is a temporary fix. After about 10 years, the consumption of resources, the displacement of human workers, and the massive transfer of wealth to the few who own these AI agents makes a fundamental restructuring unavoidable. And yet, the entire world is going along with this plan. The question is, why? As we covered in last week's video, the New World Order, the emerging unipolar world is preparing for a major geological event that is expected to be catastrophic for the United States and beneficial to Russia. In the United States, data centers are being built inland and on elevated land, away from the coastlines. This is where all vital U.S. infrastructure is being moved, and is where billionaires are buying up acres by the millions. China is building their data centers inland and high above sea level, over 1,200 kilometers from their main user bases, who have been complaining about latency and security. China has also built ready-to-occupy ghost cities at high elevation, deep inland, and on geologically stable platforms. And they are now using economic incentives to move its population into these cities and away from the coast. Russia's official government plan explicitly states the opening up of new land for agriculture and easier transportation of goods in the Arctic as positive effects of an expected pole shift. They are spending billions preparing for it. They have passed dozens of new laws aimed at stimulating economic growth and encouraging migration to the Arctic, including free land grants, subsidized mortgages, and other social benefits for those who make the move. Russian scientists have concluded that 13 million square kilometers of currently frozen territory will soon thaw and become the center of Russian civilization and a land of great opportunity. Russia is not frantically building data centers. They are passing homesteading laws and preparing for a windfall of new landmass. The expected catastrophic geological event is the most elegant explanation for all the chaos happening on Earth today. It explains just about everything. The real mystery is this: what exactly is causing it, and how do the most powerful people on Earth know about it? Greg Reese reporting.
This is getting out of hand. This is wild. By the way, I want to pat myself on the back. It was well over a year ago. It was back in January, right here. January, I have proof. I brought the receipts. January of 2025, your boy right here on my program, The Daily Ruckus. I was talking about AI agents pretty much before anyone else was like in this space. So I was trying to warn people about that. But even back then, I didn't stop to consider what that would mean for the energy thing, and that would lead to this contentious battle over data centers. I did not see that coming, probably because when I was at least exploring this stuff and learning about it, it was very much aligned with the blockchain technology. So that space was very much learning about this stuff and talking about it, because a lot of it was based on the backbone of blockchain technology, which is can be a pretty stellar and not necessarily such a large consuming thing. Like, you don't really need all these data centers for these things, but then now that we're being told, oh, but we need it to train the models and to store the data and to do that. And I'm just like, well, we've had the data centers storing all the data for a while. Utah already has a huge one for the NSA. Why now? Why here? Why all these things? Sure, they want to do all of this stuff, but I'm starting to wonder, Sam, I'm feeling a Scooby-Doo moment here. Are these things really indeed exactly what they say they are, or is this the perfect cover for something else? For instance, Donald Trump wants to build his ballroom, and lo and behold, it's really not about what's on top. It's about what's being built underneath. These data centers and all of this energy and stuff that they're doing could very well be powering or serving some other sort of, I mean, if you want to put on your tinfoil hat and get really conspiratorial about this, right, you could say, oh, maybe they want to terraform the Earth or something. For the listeners at home, I got a nice meme here. It's an alien waiting on those UFO files to drop to see who snitches. But you really never know what these things are about, especially considering the fact that they're so out in the open. Like, hey, here's what it is and why we need it. We need to ruin your life and steal all your water and stuff like that so that we can use AI. And you stop to think about that. Like, is that going to make sense 20 years from now? Like, wow, I can't believe we killed ourselves just so we could have AI. I'm very suspicious now of what exactly is going on and what these things are and what they're going to use them for. And is it just a cover? Is this just the tip of the iceberg, so to speak? Just throwing it out there because I like to do the conspiracy theory thing, Sam.
Well, they do have deep underground bases as well. I believe it's all part of the same.
That's where the aliens live, isn't it?
I don't know about that, but maybe
that's what they say.
That's what has been rumored, that who knows what's going on in these secret, dumb facilities, deep underground military bases. Here's a legislation that was introduced by Bernie Sanders and AOC, Artificial Intelligence Data Center Moratorium Act. I have serious doubts this is going to go anywhere, but here it is, S4214 there. And of course, right-wingers are framing it, oh my gosh, you hate American progress, progressives on the left. And it's like, wow, we always got to get dragged back in the left-right gutter of nonsense instead of talking like adults about the true threat that's right in front of our face. You just have to scream, I hate a freaking liberal all day, or I hate a conservative all day. It's just freaking childish nonsense. But that's the level of political discourse in this country for the majority. It's very sad state of affairs, honestly. To lift your spirits here a little bit, meet Zionist billionaire Ron Lauder, the president of the World Aardvark Land Conference. He's also father-in-law to the next Federal Reserve Chair, Kevin Warsh. Here he is at the meeting.
Small world.
It's a real small world. Let's hear from Lauder here now. And of course, there's no conspiracy, but they do have the World Aardvark Congress, and these guys have meetings like every other day, but yeah, they don't conspire about anything.
I intend to meet with leaders of every country. I need your help. You have to tell me in these countries what you need and how I can help. And I'll convey that to the leaders of your country. Let me tell you, I have one added strength. I'm not afraid to tell the heads of state that they're cowards. What do I lose? And
I like their map here. Let's just go back. See that? Like, take a look at that. Oh, they're just taking all of this. Talking about greater aardvark land. Gee, my knees. They're taking all of it, bro. At the freaking aardvark Congress that doesn't exist, they were told.
That was almost an entire hemisphere there, brah.
Look, let's take one more look. They're taking it all right there. That's a lot more than Jerusalem, isn't it? Damn, man. Did you look? And they stuck the bottom there into Australia, right? They stabbed Australia right there with the bottom of their evil star. Wowzers. Wowzers. So thankfully, that's the father-in-law of the new chairman of the Federal Reserve, Kevin Warsh. It's exciting times for the U.S. economy. Also here, Louder was also named repeatedly in the Epstein files, along with Kevin Warsh. Yep.
He's out of my head. I was just going to ask you to do the thing and ask him, put his name in the search.
Here it is. Don't trust me. Trust Bloomberg. I don't know. We could search it too. I don't think Bloomberg's lying about this one. Epstein set up LLC for Louder Black to hold $25 million in artwork. So, wowzers. It's good to know these men are in charge of the fiat debt-based monetary system. On to Trump here now. Trump ethics filing reveals thousands of trades tied to U.S. stocks. The purchases included securities linked to Microsoft, Meta platforms, Oracle, Broadband, Bank of America, and Goldman Sachs. Trump disclosed a flurry of at least $220 million in financial transactions earlier this year in the securities of major U.S. companies, according to two new financial disclosure forms released earlier today by the U.S. Office of Government Ethics, which is in of itself a conspiracy theory. So take a little. It looks like this is unusual. Unusual Wells on X says Trump bought millions in stocks after the Iran war dip. He also has had unusually large gains. You can see some of his top gains here, and they published this screenshot. So Trump not missing a trick on insider trading here. And so everybody loves to jump up and down. And we've covered Nancy Pelosi's not even up there. I forget even the congressmen, but they're all, a large majority of them are insider trading on inside information and setting policies to move markets. And Trump uses the bully pulpit as president to move markets, as we continue to see. But massive gains here across the board, as you could see on Trump's investments there. But he's just a genius investor, I suppose. Trump bought Dell, right? Remember that? And he pumped Dell. He said, go out and buy Dell. He bought multiple times Dell since February 10th of this year, up to more than $5 million. And on May 8th, Trump pumped Dell by saying, go buy Dell. Wowzers, dude. Wowzers. So, yeah. Trump is pumping stocks.
Would that work if we do it? Can we buy stock and then tell everybody to buy it and then we make money? How's this work?
If you'll go to jail, but you don't have the world stage as Trump does to cause these massive market fluctuations and game it.
But if I did, I wouldn't go to jail.
No, you'd still go to jail.
Well, Trump's not going to jail.
The Trump Justice Department is dropping Biden-era charges against Indian billionaire Gautam Adani after he hired a legal team led by one of Trump's personal lawyers, according to the failing New York Times. According to reports, the lawyer told the DOJ that Adani would invest $10 billion in the U.S. economy and create 15,000 jobs if charges were dropped against him. And charges were dropped against him by the Trump DOJ.
What was he charged with?
He was charged with, it doesn't even say, illegal. It doesn't even say. He was charges against him by the Biden. This report doesn't even say what the charges were.
Yeah, he's been exonerated.
Yeah. Good enough for me. It's going to create 15,000 jobs. Grocery prices in the U.S. soared faster in April last month than any month in nearly 4 years, according to ABC. Yeah, I would say firsthand knowledge grocery shopping here. That is indeed the case. I believe we're looking at 25 to 40% price increase since in the price of the majority of groceries since the beginning of the Iran war. And that's just dead reckoning, back of the envelope calculations of my own personal experience, clocking prices in my head as I go grocery shopping, Ruckus. It's getting rough out there to even afford to eat.
I remember going to the grocery store. That was fun back in the day.
The cost of living. Check out this report. Fortune magazine is coming out with some hard-hitting economic doom and gloom, but hey, somebody's got to. Report out of Fortune magazine, they say the cost of living has risen 106% since 2001. That's 25 years. The cost of living has doubled, more than doubled.
It was almost tripled.
Gee, my knees, man. They're killing us over here with this inflation. Oh, there is no inflation in the golden age. I forgot. Excuse me. Trump's tariffs have done significant damage to the U.S. economy, Moody's chief economist said. So he needs to be sanctioned and droned immediately. The U.S. has cleared around 10 Chinese firms to buy NVIDIA's second most powerful AI chip, the H200. But not a single delivery has been made so far, according to a report out of Reuters. Maybe just lie like about the Trump phone. But it turns out Trump phone is being delivered. We'll have that report shortly here. The U.S. Treasury Department's auction of $25 billion in 30-year bonds debt was officially awarded at a high yield of 5.046%, marking the first time the 30-year bond yield auction had closed above 5% since August of 2007, according to the Financial Times. The U.S. government knows that no one wants to buy its debt any longer, and so they're incentivizing it through higher interest rates, as per this most recent Treasury bond auction. Gee,
what could possibly go wrong?
Nothing. And hey, Trump's not the dirty con man that likes little children that we thought he was. Yeah, he is. But he did make good on this deal, apparently now, because of all this pressure to actually deliver the Trump phone. Trump's mobile T1 phone is finally being shipped after nearly a year of delays. It's a $499 gold Android phone with Trump's branding. Let's watch this short clip. So it's widely reported that Trump burned everybody that bought the phone by changing the terms of service. And so it looks like now, due to pressure, they're going to actually have to fill these orders instead of just stealing like $500 million from Trump phone buyers. Let's watch this short video about the phone.
Using the new T1 phone from Trump Mobile, a powerful device designed for performance, reliability, and real American value. Built with premium materials and a sleek modern design, the T1 delivers the speed and responsiveness you expect from a flagship smartphone without the flagship price. Engineered to keep up with your day, the T1 delivers dependable performance whether you're streaming, navigating, working, or staying connected with family and friends, giving you the confidence of a phone that's ready whenever you need it. The brilliant display makes streaming, browsing, and staying connected feel smooth and effortless. Unlike many modern flagship devices, the T1 includes a 3.5mm headphone jack, allowing users to utilize their existing audio equipment. Capture sharp photos, clear video, and the moments that matter most with a camera system designed for everyday life. Right out of the box, the T1 phone includes a charging cable, charging block, and a clear protective case, giving you a few useful essentials right from the start.
Unbelievable. Did he really call it the T1? I'll wait for the T1000. Thank you very much. You can't make this stuff up.
Can't make it up, man. And due to they were going to burn their customers, but due to public pressure, it looks like now they're being forced to actually fill these orders. We'll follow this.
Don't you hate it when that happens, Trump?
On to the price of a gallon of gasoline. According to the AAA national average, we're at $4.53 on average across America here now. As we're in a Persian standoff in the Strait of Hormuz, essentially, and California $6.14. Yeah, I'm cutting way back on my driving over here. And then this tracker, the Iran War Energy Cost Tracker, out of the Watson School of International and Public Affairs at Brown University. And you could see right here, every day it goes up. Now, U.S. households on average are paying an increased cost for both gasoline and diesel of $301.58. Again, on average number. So take that into mind when looking at this data. But you could see the total cost burden since the start of the war on America here now. And it's ticking away just like interest on the national debt faster than we can see. It's quite a sight to behold there, Ruckus.
So you're telling me you were cooked, as the kids would say.
No, Tim Cook, actually, I think he stepped down and there's going to be a new CEO of Apple. Yeah, it's not looking good here. But hey, eat a microchip. You know what I mean? So let them eat microchips. Let them eat silicon.
I can't. There's too many carbs in those things.
Iran said to be allowing Chinese vessels through the Strait of Hormuz. About 30 vessels have crossed the Strait of Hormuz with Iranian authorization since yesterday evening. According to Iran's state media, Iran has reportedly begun permitting Chinese vessels to transit the strait due to the two countries' quote deep relations and strategic partnership, and informed sources told the semi-official Fars news agency. So
I thought we were partnering with China. I thought we were buddies with China now. I'm confused.
No, Iran can't have a nuke.
Oh, thanks for reminding me. I almost forgot. Whew.
Finally, some good news out of the corrupt America here. A injustice was corrected. I believe an injustice done to Francesca Albanese, the UN Special Rapporteur there, who got hit with sanctions for issuing her report documenting up one side, down the other, the genocide there in Gaza. In one report by Aardvark government, IDF, and another report, the multinational corporations that are complicit in said genocide. And she put out those reports, and that really pissed them off. That is, the U.S. government, Western banking system, issued sanctions against her, basically destroying her and her family's financial life. I'm surprised they didn't drone her, honestly. But some good news now with the background about why this is good news. Came out yesterday. She posted, let's put it on the screen here. U.S. court has suspended the U.S. sanctions against me, she says. As the judge says, protecting the freedom of speech is always just the public interest. And so this judge, man, he's antiseptic, needs to be droned, sanctioned, the whole routine, right? Sure. You can see right there. And so there's still some sanity here in the U.S. judicial system? No?
No, I'll take the win, but why is it couched under free speech? This has nothing to do with free speech. She literally reported facts. She compiled reports about the genocide. She compiled a report about companies that are complete. This is not like her opinion. This is just like, this is not free speech related. That's very interesting that it went that direction. It's also interesting that this does feel like a win, and it is a win. So I'm happy no matter what. Don't get me wrong, but it should have been for it should have been for a different reason, I think. But there was this weird report. I don't know if you covered it, Sam, or if you're going to cover it tonight. I'm sorry, but there's something about how Bibi came out and said he's willing to say, America, we don't need your money anymore, or something like that. That's been going around, and I'm just like, that feels too much like.
No, but it came out. ZBS News cut it up. And so that is inaccurate.
That's what I thought. Yeah, I thought that whole thing, I didn't trust that for a second. So I'm like, so again, but they do have to give us wins. They have to, the elections are coming up right around the corner now, don't you know? And I believe we're going to probably see a lot more of these little appeasements happening to try to soothe the fractured base. There's a lot of sore MAGA folks out there who might be considering voting a different direction. So they probably got to throw a few wins our way. But I don't know. Again, this is an unexpected win, and this is a good news for her. So I will applaud it no matter what, Sam.
How about this? Well, this is good news for Cuba. The CIA director, John Ratcliffe, met with the interior minister in Cuba as Trump, little Marco, and what do you do with the drunken Hakes? That's continued to say Cuba's next to get whacked here now, as it's being reported that Cuba's under a blackout. They've run out of fuel in Cuba here now. And the CIA shows up to say, what's up, dude? You know what I mean? It's like, what? So there's a shadow war or secret war going on right now in Mexico, in Cuba, in Central and South America. Okay, because we're building the Greater North America project here now. And so all that is going on. Let's watch this short clip of Cuba.
That's crazy. What's worse than hearing somebody come to your door and say, we're from the government and we're here to help? We're from the CIA and we're here to help.
There's a short clip out of Al Jazeera reporting on the fuel crisis there due to U.S. siege on fuel going into Cuba. You could, I'll just see, 22 hours of blackout as businesses shut down there in Cuba. Traffic lights fail, public transport halts. See if we can.
Que mayormente a los niños que no van a la escuela, porque imagínate tú, hay problema de déficit de petróleo en el país, ¿ves? Entonces eso no está oculto, eso no es mentira. Y entonces la situación es que la economía estaba demasiado en el piso. Entonces no hay inversiones para hacer nada. Y entonces eso es lo que hay.
And so U.S. foreign policy here against Cuba, but we've seen it many times now, is they're trying to impoverish the people so badly that they overthrow their government. That didn't work out in Iran. They're trying the same strategy here in Cuba, and it doesn't look like it's working out there either.
Because they're trying to overthrow the wrong government. Oh, wait, sorry.
Cuba calls on U.S. to lift blockade following aid offer. And so they are twisting Cuba's arm here. Cuba says It has completely run out of diesel and fuel oil, pushing the country into its worst blackout crisis in decades. Many parts of Havana now only get 2 to 4 hours of electricity per day, causing protests, food spoilage, transportation problems, and major disruption to daily life. That is the plan of America. U.S. blockade and closure of the Strait of Hormuz pushes Cuba to total fuel collapse. And then here's what Cuba, the pressure is getting to the Cuban government. Cuba says it is ready to review proposed $100 million aid offer from the United States. And you know that's going to come with a whole bunch of strings attached.
They're ready to cry, Uncle Sam. No relation to you, of course, Sam.
They are ready to cry, Uncle. And I don't blame them. But yeah, so maybe we won't see a hard military hot fight with Cuba. Maybe they will.
Trump is the master of the deal now, isn't he? Right?
We've won the Iranian
wars. And it's just looking like the Godfather, kind of like, we'll make him a deal he can't refuse kind of stuff going on here.
It's straight up gangster capitalism.
You always put it. I like the way you put it. It's like take the silver or take the lead, right?
That's literally the choice they give you, where there is no choice. Do what we say, or we shoot you in the face and laugh about it and call you a terrorist. So that's the U.S. foreign policy here now regarding Cuba. U.S. aardvark land war on Iran forces Baghdad to seek IMF loan as oil exports collapse. So we're still hurting the people of Iraq, if you can imagine that, we killed a bunch of Iraqis into Iran when it was hot. We killed a bunch of Iraqis. Now the Joe Blow Iraqi is still suffering, and they're going to go further in debt, seeking an IMF loan because they're caught in the middle of the Iran war. And so I'm sure the Iraqi people appreciate the 20 plus years of U.S. help to liberate them.
Stop helping.
Saudi Arabia floats Helsinki-style non-aggression pact with Iran. According to a report out of the Financial Times, Saudi Arabia has discussed the idea of a regional non-aggression pact with Iran and other West Asian states. Again, if these Muslims, Sunnis and Shias, and all the other spin-off groups could ever get together, they would kick the Anglo-American establishment's butt out of there. But I don't know. They have their own corruption problems. They got all their own problems. So they got
funny because the same thing here, right? If all of us would stop fighting amongst ourselves and got together, we would also kick them out of there. Yeah, isn't that weird?
The UK, the masters of divide and conquer and balkanization, never forget, sit on top of all this, and they know what they're doing. That's why that little island ruled the freaking world, and they still do in many regards behind the scenes here now, because the UK Englishmen know what the hell they are doing, and so never forget that. Here is Trump and his officials said Iran was decimated according to our own U.S. intelligence, quote, community, not so much. And so here's the little graphic the Clash report made. And these reports have been coming out this last week. Let me put that graphic back up there. Iran is back. Classified U.S. intelligence finds Iran's missile infrastructure largely intact weeks after Trump administration declared it destroyed. 70% of pre-war, 80% of missile launchers still operational, 90% of underground facilities potentially or fully back online. Huh? And that's pulling data from the failing New York Times. It was widely reported We reported it here the last few days at Weaponized News.
It's military intelligence from the military, but just because it was reported through the failing New York Times, Trump can say that's fake news.
Pretty much. And so those damn Hamas sympathizers, or excuse me, Hezbollah sympathizers at the U.S. IC. Russia-Ukraine war still raging. Russia drone and missile strikes collapsed a 9-story building there in Kiev. 18 apartments destroyed, at least 7 killed, including a child. 20 people still missing under the rubble. And here's an image of that. As Putin this last week has floated winding down the Ukrainian war, also backhandedly threatening he'll put nukes on his hypersonic missiles. So, they had that brief ceasefire for Victory Day Russia celebration, and back to the war. It's quite horrific. It needs to end here now. Another failing of Trump. And this guy loves his big guns and posting on the internet. Not many people even follow this guy. Assistant Secretary of War Mike Dodd, he put out this post, and he does have the creepy homemade logo here with the death's head in the diamond in the Pentagon. That was 2 or 3 days show ago thumbnail. But he put out this post: major problems require precise solutions. The U.S. Air Force just leveled up the MQ-9 Reaper, successfully testing APKWS laser-guided rockets to take down aerial drones by turning a surface-to-surface weapon into a drone killer. We're driving lethal, cost-effective innovation. Wowzers.
Drones fighting drones. This is turning into Star Wars, isn't it?
We're getting there. Hey, Terminators have feelings too, Ruckus.
Prove it.
UAE commentator Abdullah, it was widely reported that Bibi went to the UAE to help them defend against Iranian attacks, allegedly. Now it's being reported that is not accurate. The UAE categorically denies the war criminal Netanyahu ever visited the UAE at any time, is their public response to all of that. And so who knows, it's probably somewhere in between. But thankfully, we have Aardvark Land Defense Minister Katz on Iran. He says our mission is not complete. By all reports, their fingers on the trigger. They're loaded up to kick this whole thing off with Iran hot and heavy once again. And so everybody's finger is on the trigger. There is a flotilla of 54 boats carrying nearly 500 activists from 45 countries set sail from Turkey heading toward Gaza with humanitarian aid, including the terroristic cargo of rice, flour, and infant formula, and some medicines. And so I would be willing to bet they're going to get jacked by Aardvark Land at sea before they can ever reach their destination to deliver aid to the Palestinians in Gaza. What do you think, Ruckus? Can this flotilla of 54 boats make it there?
Oh, no way. No chance in hell, especially if they have infant formula on board. That stuff is pretty powerful, and it's got to go. That could not possibly get to Gaza, no matter what. I mean, it would be okay to let Iran have a nuclear weapon before it's okay to allow Gaza to have any infant formula. I'm sure we can all agree on that, Sam.
That's the sediment. Aardvark forces intercept the first fleet in late April. And remember, we reported on it. They beat the hell out of them. When they were terrorists trying to deliver infant formula. So, yeah, I suspect this flotilla will get the same treatment. They are leveling southern Gaza, as we continue to report here every day. Aardvark Land warships targeted southern Lebanese town. And here's Here's an image of when they want your land, they just whack your house. And so here it is. And there's picture after picture, report after report. They're in the distance. And so it seems like we have a problem of morality. People can't seem to understand it's wrong to steal and to kill and steal people's stuff. That's immoral. But we have a morality problem here in the world, apparently, for the supporters of Zionism, Ruckus.
Well, for a select group of people on this planet who feel themselves to be chosen, we'll just say, yeah, morality is relative, I suppose, right?
Wild. And they're systematically targeting the public infrastructure there of paramedics, hospitals, firefighters, first responders in Lebanon, not in Gaza, the Hamas terrorists and all that. Lebanon, okay, because they have repeatedly told us they're taking all that land to the Litani River here now, and they're destroying their public health infrastructure. So anyone injured has no paramedic to even put a freaking Band-Aid on them because they're all whacked.
There's a small chance that's a feature, not a bug.
Aardvark land attacks killed at least 15 people, including 2 children across southern Lebanon, or as of in the last 24 hours, you could say. Let's see this report. How do you say her name? Courtney Bonanu, I believe. This blonde chick, I keep thinking they're going to whack her, but she's reporting with the Drop Site News. Let's hear her quick report here. I think they're going to whack her, maybe because she's a white blonde lady. They haven't yet, because they whack the hell out of journalists. I'm praying for her safety. Everybody should. She's on the ground in southern Lebanon.
Reporting to you from Kfar Ruman in Nabatea, which is a forced displacement area. It was hit yesterday with 3 violent airstrikes down the road here. This is as close as we can safely get, but the town did sustain some massive destruction. Today, the Israeli army issued forced displacement orders for 8 more towns north of the Litani River, and has carried out multiple airstrikes and drone strikes already this morning, including an attack on an ambulance center in Kasaibe. Lebanese and Israeli delegations are due to begin a 3rd round of talks today in Washington, just days before the current ceasefire is set to expire. Typically during these types of talks, in my experience at least, the Israeli army escalates violent attacks in Lebanon, so let's see how these days play out. But today, I can tell you, like every other day, started off violently with several people already being killed in attacks in Lebanon. And yesterday, I actually read a statement that said something to the effect of, Lebanon has a Hezbollah problem, or they have an Iran problem, or something like that. And I just want to state again that as a witness, the only entity that I have seen for the last 18 months committing acts of genocide, committing acts of ethnic cleansing against the Lebanese people is the Israeli army.
She needs to watch her butt. I'm telling you, man, she's on the Palantir list. I could almost guarantee that.
She knows it too. You can tell she's scared.
I would be too. Damn. Nearly, we're almost at 3,000. We're nearing 2,900 killed in Lebanon since March 2nd. So, yeah. And by the way, there is, as I don't know if you caught it in that report, but there is a Lebanese Aardvark delegation in Washington right now, allegedly negotiating a peace deal. But there's a ceasefire right now, and they're whacking almost 3,000 Lebanese since the ceasefire. Funny how that works.
Peace deals, ceasefire, these words are completely empty, hollow things now to me, unfortunately.
Since March 2nd, Ruckus, 2,896 Lebanese have been killed and 8,824 Lebanese wounded. And again, they're whacking anybody that could put a Band-Aid on those wounds.
You know, it'd be a fun experiment is to start taking these numbers from all the deaths that are caused by U.S. and aardvark excursions to the bat stuff.
Where's the giant public health freak out about this? There's mum's the word. Maybe we have a miracle for the indiscriminate killing of civilians. No, not
yeah,
so
it's called
much.
Morality.
And you're like, but they're still genociding the Palestinians in Gaza. Yeah, they are. In the last 24 hours, it's reported 2 dead Palestinians, 1 body recovered, and 24 injured there, as they are going to get that land one way or another.
If there's one thing we've learned about aardvark land is their appetite for genocide knows no bounds, and they can have this going on 3, 4, 5, as many fronts as they like, Sam. They
8
just
fronts.
no
They're in
slowing
an 8
down.
front. They're in an 8 front war. Everybody hates
There
them
you go.
because they're hat size. That's what they tell
Obviously.
us. That's what they tell
Have you
us.
seen those hats, bro? Rage-inducing.
Aardvark settlers accused military of confiscating and manipulating private surveillance footage from the worst day in the history of the world, October 7th. You don't say. And so it turns out the people, aardvarks, that were there are saying the military's covering up what actually happened by confiscating private surveillance footage. You don't say. You don't say. At the very least, there was a stand down order on that day. They carried out the Hannibal Doctrine, which is whacking your own people so they don't get taken hostage. And it looks like, well, we know also that Hamas was created by the West and Bibi. So there you have it. And now aardvarks are even complaining about it, saying the aardvark military is covering up what actually happened by. Yeah, that's really all that matters. Aardvark land prison authorities weaponized solitary confinement against Palestinian children. Data obtained from the Aardvark Prison Service reveals a staggering surge in the use of solitary confinement against Palestinian detainees, with children and women increasingly subjugated to prolonged isolation. According to figures secured by Physicians for Human Rights, the number of Palestinian minors held in solitary confinement skyrocketed from a single case in 2022 to 209 in 2024. Adult detainees face similar trajectory as figures nearly tripled within the same period, reaching nearly 4,500 individuals trapped in isolation cells as the occupation intensified its crackdown following the events of October 2023. They've weaponized solitary confinement against children and women, Ruckus.
Well, they have a much more humane solution now. They can just call them terrorists and they will be hanged. Quick and easy.
Here's a report more about the prison dog raping. That we've reported. Well, we've reported on it numerous times, but it broke again big yesterday. The U.S. Mockingbird media finally put out a big report.
Yes, actually, this is not the first time that we documented cases of dogs abusing, or trained dogs actually abusing or raping Palestinian detainees inside Israeli jails. In this report particularly, we documented several cases. I will just read one of the shocking cases that we documented. One detainee told us that he was detained, of course, in Sdeti Man, and this is where most of the violations occur. He said that they took a group of detainees and me to the corridor between the sections and forced us to strip completely naked. The soldiers brought in several dogs. One of them urinated on me. One of the dogs then raped me, penetrated my anus in a trained manner when I was being beaten. This continued for several minutes. I felt profoundly humiliated and violated. Other, of course, men we met said that after they were raped by the soldiers, they also were raped by dogs in the very same day. And this is something that also confirms that this is a systematic policy, because no army trains dogs on raping humans unless this is something that is accepted by the highest rank in the authority.
Wait a minute, Sam. She's saying that these guards didn't sit there and spend months and years training these dogs just to do it to this one guy?
What she's
that this
saying.
was like this is like a thing? Like they do this frequently?
Systemic, yeah.
I see no evidence of that whatsoever. Dogs do this naturally on their own, Sam. Everyone who owns a dog knows that you can't turn your back with them over a second. Next thing you know, you're getting R-worded by your dog. No, this is obviously what she said is a fact, and no one can argue that. And this is probably one of the most disturbing, disgusting, craziest things I've ever had the displeasure to hear in my life. This is wild. And then to know that this goes on for how long has this been going on? I don't even. Anyways, yay! Most moral army on the planet. Everybody, what does that tell you?
Well, they're all pissed off. The IDF's all pissed off about that big report exposing all this at the failing New York Times. Christoph, they say, following the publication by Nicholas Christoph in the New York Times, one of the most hideous and distorted lies ever published against the state of Aardvark land in the modern press, which also received the backing of the newspaper. And so now they're suing the New York Times over this. And so we'll see how that goes.
Because the New York Times is so smart and so good. They're so intelligent that they brilliantly came up with this incredible, crazy, wild idea. I mean, this is the most imaginative. Kudos to you, New York. They should get into the movie making business. Could you imagine make some cool comic books, some sort of content that would be entertaining, unique, and original? Because if they can come up with this stuff, man, I would have never. I could have sat here for a million years thinking, hello, who in their right mind would make up something like this? That's insane.
Well, who does this? Here you go. Children shot, stabbed, and pepper sprayed in the occupied West Bank, according to UNICEF. Aardvark forces and armed Aardvark settlers, ultra-Zionists, are carrying out increasingly coordinated attacks on Palestinian children across the occupied West Bank, with documented incidences including shootings, stabbings, beatings, and the use of pepper spray, the UN's child agency said. So the UN is probably working with the New York Times with their antiseptic smears here. Is what it looks like to me, Ruckus.
I have X. I'm not stupid. I wasn't born yesterday. I just watched a video the other day, allegedly, of what sure as hell looked like a settler standing there at the yellow line, just shooting indiscriminately with a huge, something out of a Rambo movie machine gun, just like whatever, and like, what the hell, just shooting at the tents, the people who've been displaced on the safe side, on the other side of the yellow line where it's supposed to be safe. The guy's just like, this is what we do for fun. We just go out and just shoot at random, and maybe if we're lucky, we'll get somebody, right? This is so sick and disturbing.
It gets better. A day of shame and disgrace and provocation of 2 billion Muslims by Ben Gvir, the extremist Zionist national security minister, in a precedent for the minister who raised the occupation flag and dances in celebration, chanting what is called the Temple Mount, the Al-Aqsa Mosque, and the Dome of the Rock Mosque in our hands during what is called the Flag March on Nakba Day, and closure of the Old City in Jerusalem, curfew imposition, and prevention of Palestinian worshipers from praying in the Al-Aqsa Mosque, and marches roaming the Palestinian neighborhoods in East Jerusalem, raising chants and chanting racist slogans. I believe there's we have other reporting here. Here's a quick video, and we have more video of the consummate provocateur Ben Gavir. They're trying to get these Muslims to attack. That's in front of the Al-Aqsa Mosque. They're with a heavy police escort, and we have more of the dancing here. Here's another clip here, trying to get a rise out of these Muslims by desecrating their holy site, the Al-Aqsa Mosque there.
Did you notice how the police are wearing the face masks there? Did you like that? You might think it's because of this, right?
No,
it's not. If you had to be that close to those people jumping and doing that in front of you, you'd probably want a face mask too. Just saying.
So they've locked the Muslims out, and they're taunting them essentially to do something, and so that is the whole provocation of the Al-Aqsa Mosque that continues.
That's insane. That's like it's like something out of a movie right there. I mean, this is another movie reference, Crank. I don't know if you saw that one with Jason Statham, where he goes in and picks a fight with everybody in the bar just because he can get beat up and whatever. It's part of a superpower thing, whatever. But yeah, who does that kind of stuff? I mean, like, holy moly, this is in your face depravity, immorality, disgusting. Like, just tell me you're racist, superior. I believe I'm better than everybody without telling me. You know what I mean? It's wild. Look at those people. Wow.
No, they want Muslims to attack, and they'll turn around and say you're terrorists and start a major war with them, even bigger than they're doing now.
They think they want that, but that's going to be their worst nightmare. What you were mentioning earlier, like if all of these Muslims could get together, well, if they did something crazy and just took out that mosque, I think that might be one of those big tipping points, right?
That's like where we're at, yeah, because we have to build the third temple to fulfill all of their evil prophecies. And so if they can ever get around to doing it on their own clock here, apparently, with all their weird rituals and sacrifices and the rest of it, then if we ever do get to that point, they're going to see their 2 billion Muslims rush the gates, and it'll be like World War Z style. I don't see them holding them back, but they're ready to go there because they're true believers. Here's Aardvark Land finance minister Smotrich right there in the center with his Saturn cube on his head with the rest of these jokers. He's in a move that signals the acceleration of the annexation of the occupied West Bank. And so this was yesterday there. And so they're signing off on they're taking all of the occupied West Bank, all of Jerusalem. They're taking it all. They've said it many times, many different ways. And here's one more provocation on that path. So today was, they call it Jerusalem Day there in Aardvark Land. Aardvark's marked Jerusalem Day today, the annual Aardvark Land Nationalist Celebration, celebrating Aardvark Land's 1967 capture and occupation of East Jerusalem, with far-right Aardvark Land mobs rampaging through Jerusalem's old city, chanting "Death to Arabs," assaulting Palestinians, vandalizing shops in the Muslim quarter, and targeting journalists, while thousands of Aardvark Land police largely stood by. And that's according to a report out of Haaretz.
It's a big party, bro. Celebration.
A celebration of ultra-Zionist terrorism, death to Arabs. A little more from Smotrich. He went on Aardvark TV and said, we need to exploit the window of opportunity of a friendly administration in the White House and a right-wing government here to de facto kill the idea of establishing a Palestinian state in the heart of the land of Aardvark Land. Connection. I fell off there for a second. So there's that report. That was weird. You're on the wrong side. Well, we have one more report, and then we'll wrap up this broadcast, Ruckus. More from Smotrick. He says, you see a halt in illegal Palestinian construction in the West Bank. For the first time, we reverse the trend. More demolitions than construction. And so he's proudly bragging on channel 14 here, Aardvark channel, that there's more demolitions than construction. We lost Ruckus there. Oh, he's back.
Wow. Yeah,
All right.
something's going on. They're definitely coming after us, right?
Well, something happened there. They don't like the reporting on the occupied West Bank or death to Muslims chant by the ultra-Zionists. Excuse me.
I
That's
think it was the R word, to be honest with you. That one gets you in trouble.
Which one?
The R word.
I don't even know what R word is.
The abuse by the dogs.
I thought you were talking about a rat problem.
Oh, well, you know, there's that.
Okay, let's get to the final reporting. If anything broke while we were on air here that we weren't able to monitor, Iran International says Hormuz tensions mount as Trump Xi urge reopening of Strait. Well, it looks like China's, according to early reports, China's getting safe passage. The rest, not so much. Tehran issues cryptic warning after UAE controversy. Trump Xi can likely influence Iran. Warns patience is running thin. Iran war slowing global economy growth, IMF says. Wow, we need the International Monetary Fund to tell us that. Wow. Thanks for that. Those words of wisdom from the IMF debt pirate company there. Okay. Al Jazeera headlines, Trump shadowed by unresolved U.S.-Iran war during visit to China. Yeah, the White House didn't even talk about it for like the last 2 days. So, yeah, we're in day 76 of the Iran war. So, in case you forgot, U.S. trade chief says China wants Strait open. Yeah, everybody does. But you put a blockade up there on top of Iran's blockade. And the Khomeini is still the supreme leader of Iran on day 76 here, Ruckus, and that's all we got.
We don't need the Strait. Nobody needs the Strait. Only Iran needs the Strait. That's why we're doing this, right? Straight up.
No, like 20% plus of the world's energy ships through there. And we're not even talking about all the other inputs, fertilizer.
It's only 20. Dude, listen to yourself. 20%? That's small. 20 small, bro.
For the whole world, though.
So what? It's a big world. They can handle it.
That'll meet silicon. Okay. So, yeah, millions are going to starve to death because of this. It's baked into the cake in the third and fourth world, and tens of millions are going into poverty because of this, and we are going into poverty here in America because of this. And somehow, some way, we're the world energy giant, but somehow, some way, the Rockefeller oil oligarchs are price gouging the hell out of us. But as long as Iran doesn't get a nuke, it's all worth it, according to Trump.
And I trust that Iran will not get a nuke because I trust in President Trump.
As you should. Let's go to the Odysee channel now. Shout out to Danger Huffman, John, over there in the chat, keeping it lively. Let's see here. Let's see. John says 2 days ago, an article appeared in Substack claiming that 36 doctors authorized a letter to Johnson in which they espoused the collective opinion that Trump is suffering from dementia and should be removed from office. I expect those doctors will get the whistleblower treatment or worse. Yeah.
He doesn't look like he's suffering from dementia. It looks like we're suffering from his dementia.
Good point. Huffman says, no way. Let's just click for me that it wasn't a property that Trump and Epstein fell out over. He outbid him on a girl. If they did actually fall out, like the story goes, maybe Huffman, maybe. John says Finkelstein should be publicly hanged for treason, along with Trump and all those dual citizens in Congress and the Senate. Well, wow, those are some rough words there. Capital punishment for treason. I don't know. That's kind of what the rules are, but we're very far removed.
The comments and views expressed by the commentators or the chat do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of Weaponized News, Ruckus, Sam Chaney, or our sponsors, which we don't have any.
Well, we're our own sponsors, but yeah, thank you for that disclosure announcement. John says the YouTube channel The Midas Touch is passing the stories about Trump on drugs and revealing the out-of-court settlements for Trump's alleged molestation of 6 children. This is where you will find the reports of Orange Aardvark snorting Adderall and blow. The story is Trump is Mr. Straight Edge, clean and sober, because his brother died of alcoholism, is the public story here now. But you saw Trump, maybe we didn't even play the video. There's video of Trump drinking alcohol, toasting at the meeting with Xi, dinner meeting. So
it could be non-alcoholic wine. Willie Nelson's got this THC-derived liquor he sells to people. It's the strangest thing, but maybe it's that. Well, I don't think Trump would do anything. I think he really is a teetotaler, which means he's probably into some really dark stuff we don't even want to consider or know about. But, I mean, maybe it's just the power, the control. Maybe he literally gets a high off of the fact that people laud him and praise him and love him in his mind. He's quite a narcissist, so maybe he doesn't need the drugs. Maybe he's high on himself all the time.
Maybe dopamine hits from his goofy memes are enough. From running Q psyops. We had a new person there, Pink Vegas. Welcome, Pink, on the Odysee. I'm starting to see a pattern here. Pink said, "Yeah." Noticing is it's a thing. We're
noticing might be the year or the word of the year if this keeps up.
We're noticing quite a pattern here as well. And again, history doesn't repeat, but it definitely does rhyme. John says, I never heard of him either until this incident. Yeah, I don't know. They're chatting amongst themselves. Let's see. He once haunted Studio 54, notorious Coke bar. They're talking about somebody running with Trump.
Louder, I think.
Oh.
You know, that guy's got a history. If you do some research onto that one, it's fun.
Thankfully, he's the father-in-law of the chairman of the Federal Reserve. I don't know what our monetary policy would be in this country, Ruckus.
Well, it's not going to get any better.
Thank you guys for tuning in on the Odysee and the new listeners over there on the YouTube. It takes a minute, I guess, to get used to our channel because we're not following any talking points from as the majority of your rest of your media out there is. This is sole production of me, producer and host of the show. And of course, we appreciate the contributions from all of our guests today, Ruckus. But that's why it doesn't click with you because we're not on script. You understand? We're not on their Mockingbird script. And that's why this show blows your freaking mind, as it should, because we're not following their agenda. You see?
Sam, breaking news. Candace Owens says she has a screenshot of one of your emails, which is the script that you sent me before the show. I think we're busted.
Busted. No, everybody that knows, the listeners of the show, we covered a little bit. Yeah, it looks shady what happened to Charlie Kirk, bless his soul, and all the rest of it. But to dwell on that and make it your identity in your life, like I see all these people, I'm just like, wow. get a life. We got bigger problems and bigger fish to fry here now. It's a tragic event. I wish it never happened. I hope his murder gets brought to justice. I doubt if that'll ever happen. But yeah, let's move on. Excuse me. They've killed almost 3,000 Lebanese. You know what I mean? And there's over 70,000 Palestinians. You know what I mean? So I don't know what else to say about it at this point.
Lindsey Graham would say we're killing all the right people.
Yeah. When even neocon warmonger John Bolton is bad talking Trump, and when Trump's doing everything that he wants, he has fulfilled John Bolton's wildest wet dreams of attacking Iran, but yet he's still out there bad mouthing him. That should tell you something right there. You know what I mean? Thank you, Deep there. He said, great show, Sam and Ruckus. Much appreciated. Well, we appreciate you guys tuning in here. Thank you, everybody, for chatting it up on the Odysee. Thank you for tuning on X, Kick, Bitchute, Substack, Rumble, and YouTube. Let's go to some of those chats on the Rumble and YouTube. Did you spied a troll there on the YouTube, Ruckus?
Yeah, I already forgot his name. But
well,
yeah,
what were they saying?
You'll see it. Oh, dude, straight up, we've got the usual stuff. We're Trump derangement syndrome, reminding us how and why Iran is bad. You know, the usual stuff. They're a Fox News consumer, or they're on the payroll from a particular group that won't be named. They remind me of some of the more professional-looking ones I see show up on Sunday Wire, but who knows?
DJTP said CCP out on the YouTube. Fat Bob, this definitely spells the death of the dollar.
That guy, Fat Bob, is definitely a troll. I'm just kidding, Fat Bob.
Well, he is in his own unique weaponized news way.
He's a good kind of troll, yeah.
We love it. We love his comments. Let's see. Carrie says, I predicted the computers in the 80s because replacing paper, except.
I could see that.
Ruckus is right. Question everything, Carrie said. Yeah, I believe you are right. We should question everything.
Well, hold on. I'm going to question that. No, I'm just kidding.
I think it's cover. YouTube, Rorschach said on the YouTube, I think it's cover. The last lockdown was just a test run. May very well. Shout out to Mac on the YouTube. He says they've certainly done their share of switching signals. Mac says yesterday's moral majority are latter-day Botstein Islanders. That's a good way to put it, Mac. And it's reported too. Sandwich Time told me, and many other. I think you too, Ruckus. They're deleting comments right off the YouTube in the live chat. I don't know why, but Sandwich Time reported that yesterday.
That there may be some confusion about switching between top and live. I've noticed that it'll happen to me too. Even though I've caught on that you got to choose between top and live. If I switch and then I'm going to a different app, sometimes I don't see my comment, but it still comes through here when I'm on the live stream. So even if you don't see it or it disappeared, there's a good chance a lot of other people did see it. And that we still see it. It's just there's something funky going on that's affecting like you or suddenly not seeing your comment. So I think the comments still come through in 9 out of 10 of the cases. But there are a few times where I swear to God, the comment has disappeared completely. But I don't think YouTube's that smart or that cool or they're going to bother with that kind of thing, to be honest with you. I think it's just technology is never as cool as these people like us to think it is. I mean, for what it does, it's pretty effing amazing. I'm going to give it that.
And there are bugs, and they're constantly trying to sort out bugs. And
there's been a lot more bugs since more AI has been squeezed into these things. I've noticed that significant amount of problems since the advent of AI. So I expect it will continue, and then it'll just work itself out eventually.
Turbo Time says amazing. I think that was when we were in the economic section about the price of gas. Yeah, it is pretty amazing what they're doing to us here now, as simultaneously touting we're the world's largest energy producer and king of the world's energy. and we just stole all of Venezuela's energy. We're getting ready to steal all of Mexico and South America's energy as well. And we'll still be paying $1 million for a gallon of gas. And they'll say, well, Iran can't have a nuke.
Are we going to steal Cuba's energy? Oh, wait, they don't have any.
We already stole it. Oh, man. Do you plan on moving to Cuba? They asked. No, not particularly anytime soon.
Not on my list of things to do.
Let's see. Young. Shout out to Young. Whatever happened to those dues our Air Force bragged about for defense? Cheap per charge, too. Must be using those for something. I'm sure they are. Shout out to Pamela on and Silver on the Rumble. Denver on the Rumble. As you say, he says he has to buy a new battery. Yeah, Silver, we know. We know, Silver, we know.
We can't read his comments on there.
We know, Silver, we know and concur there with you. Let's see. A-Dub on the YouTube says it's sickening. White phosphorus. Yeah, they're using white phosphorus on the Lebanese. It's a straight up war crime. Depop plan going well, A-Dub says. Yeah. They're using young Monuro. Satan's freaks, Jan says. Hard to argue they're not. In this satanic inversion of reality they've laid upon us here now. Pretty sure dues are being utilized on Iran and Lebanon. It's come out in some that I forget the name of that one bomb that literally just disintegrates everything, so you can't even recover a body because it disintegrates your body. There's literally nothing left. I forget the name of it, but they're definitely using those bombs that are crazy powerful, disintegrate to where there's nothing left.
Those are great. It makes cleanup a breeze, Sam.
It does. It does. War crimes again, against and again and again. Wow. A-Dub said, yeah. And again and again. One big club, we ain't in it. Yep. Yes, indeed. Well, thank you, A-Dub. Said great show, Sam and Ruckus. We'll end with that. Last comment. Oh, he knew the name of the bomb there. Thermobaric. Yep, that's the one. And it literally vaporizes everything, right? And so that's why we'll never even get the true body count, because they vaporized a bunch of people and act like they never even existed. And we can't prove they did because they're freaking vaporized. Yep. Thermobaric. There you go. Thank you guys. 3,500 degrees. Yeah. Vaporizes everything in the vicinity. Amazing. All right. Any final words, Ruckus, before we sign off on this Thursday edition of Weaponized News?
Yeah, to quote one of my favorite movies, leave the gun, take the cannoli. Thank you so much for having me, Sam.
Thank you, Ruckus. As always, everybody, do your own research, peace, love, and freedom. Speak out and take action. Have a great rest of your Thursday evening. And we'll be back here for more Weaponized News on Friday. Ruckus, quickly, when is Plug Boiler Room? When you guys are going to...
Boiler Room will be tomorrow evening, somewhere between 8 and p.m. Central Time, USA. You do the math. And then check us out on Sunday for Sunday Wire with Patrick Henningsen. Oh, both of those at alternatecurrentradio.com.
All right. Thank you to everybody for tuning in. Let's pray for peace, and we'll see you tomorrow.